All right, guys, we are live. I know it's a random live at night, but there's so many. If I were to do a video, I would have to do maybe 5 videos to talk about all the craziness that is going on in boxing right now. So I just want to do a couple of things, talk a couple of things that are going on in boxing. If you catch the replay, that's fine. If you want to jump on the whoever comes in the room and you want to jump on here, that's fine. I'll be happy to send the link. Uh, and also leave um, a comment at the comment section below if you want me to do more live. You know what I mean? If you want me to go live more often. But anyhow, so first and foremost, I guess you can say that the Canelo Caleb Plant fight is being finalized. At least that's what they're saying. They're saying that they're looking to fight in September, I believe. And so it'll be for undisputed. And I mean, at the end of the day, I think Canelo knows, and I think Caleb Plant knows that he has nothing for him, and that on one note, one fighter will become quote unquote the first Mexican undisputed champion at 168, and then the other fighter will become a rich man. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. But I mean, it is what it is. Am I looking forward to the fight? Not necessarily. Will I watch the fight? Yes, I'll watch the fight. But anyhow, let's talk about Ronnie Shields' comments. You know, he made some comments, and it just goes to show you, man, that at the end of the day, that's what he's looking forward to. You know, he as a trainer is looking for the same thing. He's not looking to put his training skills to the test against elite opposition. I actually, at one time, when before the pandemic, I was coaching track and field. And one of the things about track and field that I looked forward to as a coach, because it showed me a lot about myself, is I wanted to see how my coaching skills would apply on the track with my athletes. And so when my athletes, you know, would medal and would go to new heights, and that I took that athlete and I was able to turn him into something that he didn't that he was not before, I actually was very proud of that. I actually got happy at that I was able to bring that out of them. And so that's what one thing that I was proud of. I was proud of having them medal. I was proud of getting them to that next level. That's something I looked forward in. You know, that's the reason why I coach. Money had nothing to do with it. I looked at like every athlete as a project that I was just working on. And I know that I had to make the best project. But that's not the same with Mr. Ronnie Shields. As sad as it is to believe, he wants to cash out just as much as Jamal Charlo wants to cash out. Believe it or not. What Ronnie Shields will probably do is he will probably end up fighting Jamal Charlo will fight another mandatory in the WBC. He'll be some kind of unknown guy while he's waiting for the Canelo sweepstake, and he'll hope and pray to be the next dude to fight Canelo after Caleb Plant fights Canelo. That's what he's looking to do. That's what he is looking to do right now. Because in the interview, with Fight Hype and you have Marcus Villegas doing the interview, he said there's nothing to gain out of fighting David Benavidez. Okay, if there's nothing to gain out of fighting David Benavidez, then why are you in the fight game in general? Because the thing is from a financial standpoint, you up your stock. He will up his stock if he were to be able to beat David Benavidez. Okay, he could possibly like demand more if he beat David Benavidez because you're fighting a former champion. And you would think that he would have the advantage if David Benavidez came down to 160 because chances are David Benavidez will be weight trained because let's be honest, he had trouble making 168 even, and that's how he lost the belt. He lost the belt on the scale. So to make 160, that's going to be a little bit far fetched for him, and he'll probably struggle a lot to make 160. But the problem is, Mr. Ronnie Shields and Mr. Jamal Charlo don't see anything in fighting David Benavidez. And the sad thing is, the I'm not going to name their names, but there's like there's I would say there's three culprits. I'm not going to name those three culprits, but they'll well actually there's four culprits. Yeah, there's four culprits because three of them are from Texas. The fourth one's not from Texas, but three are from Texas, and so they'll cap for the Charlotte sisters no matter what they do. The Charlotte sisters can like it, I mean, one of them had domestic violence case, and they still are capping. But that's beside the point. But anyhow, um, so we look at this situation and we say, okay, well, how did this situation start? How was it that we're now at a point where we're saying that David Benavidez is being ducked by Jamal Charlo? Here's how it started. Um, Maybe around like I think it was I want to say around 2019 maybe. It could have been 2020. I'm not quite sure, but it was around. It was on an Instagram live. Jamal Charlo, perhaps he was high on coke or he may have been drunk. Jamal Charlo said, yeah, Al Heyman gave me the permission to move up to 160 to F Benavidez up. That was the first thing that was said. David Benavidez was not even thinking about Jamal Charlo. David Benavidez was thinking about Caleb Plant. He's like, yo, let's fight. Yo, you've been talking a lot and stuff like that. Let's fight. Like I put people in the hospital, so let's fight. That was the fight that Dave Benavidez was interested in. He was interested in the Caleb Plant fight, but Jamal Charlo opened his mouth up, and so Dave Benavidez said, "Well, wow, that would be it." Team Benavidez said that would be one of his toughest fights to take. That would be a very difficult fight for David Benavidez to take, right? That's what he said. That's what the team said. The team said that, that fight would be a very difficult fight for David Benavidez, right? And so, with that being said, he they were gonna they were interested in that fight because the thing is number one, they wanted to do it for the fans. Number two, they wanted to do it to get more notoriety for David Benavidez because the thing is I'm gonna be honest with you. when it comes to fighters, there's a lot of Hispanic fighters, but a lot of the fans, a lot of the Hispanic fans, I'm going to just be honest, they overlook a lot of the Hispanic fighters because of Canelo. I mean, there's actually Hispanic fighters who, in my opinion, are more skillful than Canelo, but they're being overlooked because of Canelo. So if, Dave Benavidez were to take down Charlo, people would be like, man, this dude beat one of the quote unquote most avoided fighters. And not only did he beat him, but he stopped him, right? Because, I mean, that's what I feel would happen. Believe it or not, when you take away Jamal Charlo's power, he doesn't have much of anything. To be honest, he really doesn't have anything. Um, we saw that with Brandon Adams. I mean, he didn't even have Brandon Adams hurt in that fight. And when you're fighting a power puncher, all you have to do is smother him, and that power will be, it'll be like what power? When you think about Jamal Charlo I was like a while back, I watched um a video about how he landed the uppercut with J Rock, Julian J Rock Williams, when he hit him with the uppercut. Um, his trainer was telling him to look for that shot each and every round. He wasn't telling him anything else. He wasn't telling him to soften him up. He wasn't telling him to do nothing like that. So that just goes to show you that what type of fighter he is and what type of trainer Ronnie Shields is. Um, and again, it comes to money that they're looking for. They're both looking to cash out. And so that's why they're saying what they're saying. Um, Fast forward, we go to the Andre situation. I mean, at the end of the day, I knew the Andre fight was not going to happen. I already knew that fight was not going to transpire. The reason why I knew that fight wasn't going to transpire was for the simple fact that um, it's just anybody. It's plain to see that Ronnie Shields couldn't even train for an Andre. That's what it really comes down to. And he knows. And here's another thing: we have to understand that this fight would be for a unification fight. So you put the WBO belt together, you put the WBC belt together. Winner takes all the marbles. When the winner takes all the marbles, he now takes all the money too. He now can push buttons. He now has more leverage. Ronnie Shields isn't prepared to forego those things. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna play it safe, and I won't mind giving up those things if I fight a Canelo because I'm gonna make more money. But I mean, many people would agree that Demetrius Andre would box circles around Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo would probably not. Jamal Charlo would try to load up, try to swing crazy, and try to hit Demetrius Andre. That won't help because of the simple fact he's going to run into something, right? So that's what it is, and that's why we're not going to see the fight because Ronnie Shields doesn't want to give up his leverage. Because I mean, at the end of the day, Demetrius Andre has seen that style before, the Jamal Charlo style before, and when you look at the fighters that Jamal Charlo has fought, Jamal Charlo has not really fought any boxers. The only boxers he's fought is Matt Korobov, and he's also fought um, Julian J. Rock Williams. You know, but other than that, he hasn't really fought any boxers. Austin Trout, I think he fought. I believe he did fight Austin Trout. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, he ain't really fought any boxers. So and he hasn't fought any switch hitting boxers at that. And he hasn't really fought any elusive boxers who can beat him to the punch and just like I'm not saying it would be one sided, but I'm just saying that like Ronnie Shields knows what time it is with Andre, man, and he knows how good he is, you know? And so the thing is that what Ronnie Shields is using, and I'll move on after this. What Ronnie Shields is using is he's using the pullout of I want to say the pullout of uh, Demetrius Andre in the Jermell Charlo fight. But my thing is, you're looking at the past, you're dwelling on the past, and Jamal Charlo is dwelling on the past. But there's more money on the table right now that you guys can make. But you don't want that money because you think there's some things that are unforgivable in boxing. But I guess, man, hopefully what we'll see with Andre is hopefully since Triple G ain't gonna fight him, Andre can jack the Maratha fight, and then that can be a good fight. Hopefully he can hijack the Maratha fight. Hopefully, inshallah. But now let's talk about Mr. Jojo Diaz. My, my, how things have changed. So there was some back and forth with Jojo Diaz and Devin Haney. As a matter of fact, Jojo Diaz beat Javier Fortuna. He became Devin Haney's mandatory, right? So in becoming Devin Haney's mandatory, they were talking about, okay, let's set the fight up. Okay, let's set it up. Let's do this fight, right? So I'm thinking, yeah, that's a good fight. That's a good scrap. Um, Jojo Diaz would be tailor made for I want to say Devin Haney because he would just come forward and apply pressure. Devin Haney would counterpunch, piece him up, use his superior boxing skill, keep him at the end of the jab. And it'll be like, okay, yeah, cool. Good fight, good entertaining fight to happen. But unfortunately, we won't see that fight either. What has happened now is that I don't know how true it is, but they're saying that Ryan Garcia is now in prime position to get the Jojo Diaz fight. That's what's happening right now. That's what is being said in the grapevine. So that means that leaves Devin Haney without an opponent. The thing is Teofimo Lopez. I would not be surprised that he waits until December to actually get back in the ring because he says that, his wife is having a baby, his wife is pregnant, or whatever the case may be. So I would not be surprised if his next fight will be Lomachenko, Vasily Lomachenko, the rematch. I would not be surprised at all. So it looks like with Jojo Diaz, it's a duck. It's a duck. He's not going to fight Devin Haney. You know, Devin Haney was willing to fight him too. You know, but hopefully, what can happen now, and I don't know how true this is, but maybe if this is true, we may be able to get some reprieve. But it's been said that Teofimo Lopez, what he may do is he may vacate his IBF belt and give it to Cambosis. So I'm pretty sure that Devin Haney would not mind fighting in Australia, fighting Cambosis in Australia, because it will be for a unification. And that means it will mean that if Devin Haney is successful or if Cambosis is successful, then that means that both of them can have the belts, the leverage, and more say so basically. Because then it's like you have two very prestigious belts. You have the WBC, and then you have the IBF belt, which are very prestigious, and that would be a good look for them. For whoever the winner is. I would. I mean, Cambosis is pretty fast, so it would be an interesting fight if that fight were to happen, and hopefully it will happen. Hopefully they can agree and unify, and Devin Haney will go over across to that side and do his thing. But yeah, it looks like Ryan Garcia and Jojo Diaz will be fighting. But I don't know. Maybe Ryan Garcia may pull out again and say, "Oh, I have anxiety, I have depression, I have these things going on." You just never know with that guy. So it remains to be seen what will happen next. Um, the final thing I wanted to talk about. This is the last thing I want to talk about. Um, but it looks like uh according to Team Virgil Ortiz, it looks like um, Virgil Ortiz will not be ready for Boots innings anytime soon. As a matter of fact, I think Robert Garcia said, give us 48 months and we'll be ready for it. So, with that being said, at this point, I'm going to just go out on a limb and say this, and many people may not believe me, but I think that Jaron Ennis, uh, he beats uh, pretty much everybody at 147. He beats everybody at 154. Even at 160, I would not, I would not side with Charlo versus an Ennis. I would favor Ennis to even win that fight. I'm looking at Ennis's training, and it looks like he can fight. It looks like 160, 154. Those weights are no problem for this guy. He doesn't miss a beat in these weights. So if he can't get any work at 147, one of the big guys at 147, then I would not be mad at him if he moves to 154. I would not be mad at him if he moves to 160 to try to get that work, because it looks like he can fight at any of those weights. Looks like that those weights would not be an issue for him. He can fight at those weights, and it will work for him in his favor. So, um, again, man, this is the thing, and I'm gonna say this, and it's going to offend a lot of people. What I'm about to say, but when you look at the greats in boxing, when you look at the Sugar Ray Leonard, when you look at the Muhammad Ali, when you look at the Roberto Duran, when you look at the Marvin Hagler, when you look at the Wilfred Benitez, when you look at the who else? I'm trying to think. Who can I name? Um, who's another one? I'm trying to think of another one. Trying to think. When you look at the Kid Chocolates, the original Kid Chocolate, when you look at the Kid Gavilan, When you look at the Sugar Ray Robinsons, what did they all have in common? Name the one thing that they all had in common. Starts with the S and it ends with the S. They had skills. And what I mean by skills, I mean footwork. I mean feints. I mean setting traps. I mean boxing, knowing when to box on your toes, knowing when to sit down on your punches. And that's what made them great. Unfortunately, though, because certain fighters like Bivol, like Devin Haney, like Demetrius Andrade, like Joran Ennis, like Erislandy Lara, like David Morrell Jr., unfortunately, because those fighters have some of those traits that I named, whereas fighters like Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Virgil Ortiz, Canelo don't have those traits. It becomes a matter of the fans of those fighters who don't have those traits reflecting and questioning the fighters who do have those traits and asking the fans of those fighters who have they fought. What instead of admitting that, well, I don't know if my guy can beat that guy. I don't know if my guy is skillful enough or has the right tools to beat that guy. Instead of just like respecting the game and understanding that there's levels to that game. I'll give you an example. I knew that Virgil Ortiz was going to win against Maurice Hooker. I knew that. And the reason why I knew is because Maurice Hooker doesn't really fight behind the jab, smothers his work, and that's how he lost to Ramirez. He doesn't fight using his length or his reach. He fights smothering his work. So with that being said, I knew what was to come of that fight. So we look at this situation right now in the boxing world, and I'm just gonna end this live with that. With this, I don't know if we're gonna see those fights. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know if we're gonna see a Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez fight for the simple, even if they're both on the same, um, under the same promotional company. I don't know if we're going to see a Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia fight, even if they're on the same promotional company. I don't know if we'll see a Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez fight, even though ESPN and DAZN have done business together. I don't know if we're going to see a Joran Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz fight. I really don't know if we're going to see these fights because of the simple fact that some of us know there's levels to this, and their trainers know that there's levels to this. And rather than risk taking an L, they rather not just entertain the fight, you know? But it is what it is, man. We just gotta wait and see what happens. But yeah, hypey, top of the top. But yeah, that's just it, bro. With with this whole boxing game, it's really kind of funny and it's really kind of whack at the same time because not only are the fighters depriving the fans of good fights, but the trainers are now depriving fans of good fights. And that's just so like sad. You know, so at the end of the day, as boxing fans, you just gotta take what you can get. You know, that's just it. And the only other way to maybe change things is just block their profits. And the way you block the profits is you just stream the fights on the computer, on the streaming on the streaming site, because of the simple fact that, listen, bro, I'm not paying for Canelo versus Caleb Plant. I'm not going to pay for that fight. Are you kidding me? I mean, why would I want to pay for that fight? Now, if it, well, Ryan Garcia, all Ryan Garcia is a Jake Paul who has a little bit more experience and a little more skill, bro. That's all Ryan Garcia is, bro. At the end of the day, Ryan Garcia is nothing more than Jake Paul with a little bit more skill and a little bit more experience in boxing. As a matter of fact, Ryan Garcia, if anything, I, I would have more respect for him if he did start off with YouTube rather than starting in the amateur ranks, because you would think that a dude who is a was an amateur fighter will understand what the pro game is about and what the pro game brings. That you're gonna get your cars pulled if you're not about that action that you say you're about. I mean, we saw that with the Tiafimo thing. Um, I don't know if you remember, but Tiafimo's father, I remember it was one video. Tiafimo's father was like talking about like how uh shoot, we can do that right now. We can do that right now. We can do that right now. I can bring you on right now, bro. It's not a problem, bro. I can put the link in the description box right now, bro. It's not about nothing. I can put I can do that right now. It's not a problem. As a matter of fact, if you send your email, I can do that right now and put get you on this about this Wilder thing, you know, or we can just do it at another time. But as far as the Wilder thing is concerned, yeah, that dude, bro, at the end of the day, bro, it's like you can hire a new trainer, you can like try to like do things different, bro, but if your whole career is not based off of boxing, then chances are you're not going to box when you're in there again with Tyson Fury. That's just it. You're going to go back to what you know. But yeah, I can let me try to bring you on. Hold on, let me see. Let me see real quick. I'm gonna send you the link right now. Hold on, let me see. Let me see. Okay. Salute Joseph Brown. All right, cool. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get you on here. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Let me try to put the let me try to put the link in here. Yeah, I can put the link in here. All right, there's the link. So if you want to come up, and we can talk about these things, because this is crazy. What I'm like, I can't make this up. You know, like I really can't make some of these things up that are going on in boxing. It's really quite sad at the end of the day. You know, I mean, what can we do? It's sad, but I mean, these are the things that we're dealing with. But yeah, there's the link. Click on the link, come up, let's talk about these things. Especially, I hate to say it, but some of these some of these fanboys don't want to face the music. Okay, add to the stream, add to the stream, add to the stream. All right, y'all are on the stream. What up?
Hey, we can start whatever topic you want to start on first. We can get straight to it.
All right.
Man,
Salute to you, Fuller.
salute to you. Salute. Bro, I can't make this up right now, bro. I'm looking on Twitter. I'm looking on Twitter, right? Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool, this is a good fight. I'm like looking at it like, yo, this is gonna be a good fight with Jojo Diaz and Devin Haney. I'm like, okay, Jojo Diaz is the mandatory, and so it's an easy call. You got to take care of your mandatory. I fast forward, and then you see Jojo Diaz and Ryan Garcia negotiate. And I'm like, you can't make this shit up, bro. He's talking all that crap about how he would beat Haney and this, that, and the other. And then he makes the 360 turnaround and fight and is going after the weakest link of the division. I can't make this shit up, bro. I really can't. But you can cook on anything. Go ahead. Just feel free.
Nah, we could touch on that part first because to me this is just crazy how you got I don't know if I've ever seen this in boxing. You got a dude who is Devin Haney, who is the champion. His mandatory, remember a few months ago, his mandatory, Ryan Garcia said, Devin Haney got to do more to deserve a shot at me. The fucking challenger. So that's crazy. And then you get Joseph Jojo Diaz, who's supposed to be a bad man. And he not even trying to go after a belt. He'd rather fight a contender. That's just crazy, fam.
It really is crazy, bro. I really don't get since when do mandatories not go after belts?
I'm not really surprised though. I'm not surprised in the move. I'm gonna tell you why I'm not surprised in the move. JoJo drew in his last fight at 130 where he missed weight and couldn't is he really ready for a title shot at 135?
Well, I mean, listen, if you say if you're fighting at 135 and it's going to be your second fight at 135, obviously you're going to be accustomed to the weight by then, hopefully. So you should be ready. And you've already had a title. He didn't beat the most challenging guy. I mean, no disrespect to Tevin Farmer, but I mean, let's face it. I mean, that nigga couldn't crack an egg. So
do you think JoJo won that Fortuna fight?
What? The Fortuna fight?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can say that you can give it 7-5, but he didn't win it convincingly. But he won,
He didn't win that fight.
Oh, well, to me,
they robbed Fortuna.
Well, for me, he won. Go ahead.
You could just tell he was a younger fighter. They had him in place. Ryan Garcia and them boys been ducking fucking Javier Fortuna, so they got him out the way with a lighter touch and JoJo Diaz. You know what I'm saying? Who is a little bit younger, a little bit better marketable than Fortuna, because it's clearly that Ryan didn't want that smoke with it, and it was kind of iffy if Devin wanted it. So I'm looking at they replace him with a JoJo Diaz. Who the hell is JoJo Diaz? Of course, them niggas want to go beat up on Joe Diaz. This man just really was just at 126 3 fights ago. So fighting Gary Russell Jr. getting beat up. So what is this man gonna go do against Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez right now? I don't see him doing nothing. So
well, that's why he ain't gonna fight him, because that's why the Ryan Garcia fight is more his flavor, because Ryan Garcia got dropped by Luke Campbell's slow as molasses self. So with that being said, with, with with that being said, of course he's going to go after Ryan Garcia. And then another thing he's probably playing off of is he's probably playing off the Ryan Garcia mental anxiety issues or whatever the case may be, which is not true at all. All that nigga is pussy whoop.
And an
That's what it
alcoholic.
comes down to.
That man's an Instagram model. He ain't no fighter.
Well, yeah, or yeah, he's an Instagram celebrity.
But what you think about JoJo though, with the JoJo situation on Jay Breezy?
He's somebody that they just threw up in the mix in order to stir it up a little bit and create, diversion. That's all. He's just a diversion. He's a pawn on the board that's just to cause a little diversion for them to make their real play. JoJo ain't there to make no noise. He there to get served up for somebody.
Yeah. I hate to say this, but I'm just gonna keep it a buck. If there was a Mexican fighter who didn't block shots with his head and was not flat-footed, I would be his biggest fan. But there's very few or far between who actually are opposite of that. Therefore, when you have a Jojo Diaz, therefore, when you have a Virgil Ortiz, therefore, when you have a Ryan Garcia, we're not going to see them fight the guys that we know would give them that work. And so at the end of the day, the guys that the guys that maybe we like, those guys may not have the chance to prove themselves to be the best because of the simple fact that, they're not fighting the people that they want to fight. They're fighting the people that they can fight. That's what's happening right now in boxing.
Yeah, I mean Joseph Diaz, to me, as far as like his last few fights, even though he didn't got wins and he had one fight, it was a draw. He ain't been fighting like to his best ability anyway. So I just look at him like he's somebody within that like rank 6 through 10. He not in the top 5 of people at 135.
Now what do you guys make out of Robert Garcia actually saying, and I'm trying to find the video. What do you make out of Robert Garcia actually saying, at first he said that Virgil Ortiz would knock out and stop Jaron Ennis. This was a while back. Now he's saying that give us 48 months and then we'll be ready to fight Jaron Ennis. What do you make of those comments?
Hold up, 48 months? Like, I hope people understand. 48 months, that's 4
It's
years.
4 years.
That's 4 years. Nigga, we gonna have a whole different president by the time.
So what do you make of what do you make of those comments?
I'll take that.
Go ahead, not to you.
It's one of those things where when you ain't making no noise and he ain't making no noise, and people always, comparing y'all as the next 2 lions up to take over the division, you want to keep associating and attaching your name, knowing damn well that fight you ain't never gonna fight this dude no time soon. But it's not being pushed when the reality of it is getting presented to you that this is a fight that y'all should eventually make sooner rather than later. Now you start talking that 48 laws of separation, degrees of separation. That's what that
Well, here's the
is.
thing. Here's the thing that is my opinion. This is my opinion. You can make the fight happen right now because I'm pretty sure they can both probably let's say they petition to the WBC to be like the next in line. I'm pretty sure they can do that.
Well, he's WBO Ortiz got a fast track for a WBO mandatory.
Ortiz just
Okay,
dunked the smoke with Bud.
He's got a fight with Green Beans
Listen,
coming
okay,
up.
but here's the thing. Why not do a title eliminator? And then you guys can fight each other.
listen
And
to
it'll be
this.
for something.
They both prospects, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Ennis could went to 140 if he could have made the weight and been a monster down there. It wouldn't have been no Josh Taylor. But he's at 147. So with that being said, they was believing the hype Robert Garcia when he was talking all that crazy shit, talking about he knocks him out and shit. He seen him go out there and beat the brakes off of Lipinets and you know what I'm saying, got a little bit of reality to him. I don't think they never fight Ennis. It ain't gonna happen at 147. I don't think it happened. Ortiz just had a shot at the WBO and he denied it. That's how Shaq Porter got the shot, the number two. He denied it and he's fighting fucking Ennis. I mean, Green Bean.
So let me get this straight then. Let me get this straight. You mean to tell me that he was talking about, I want to fight Terrence Crawford. I really want to fight him. I'm ready to fight Terrence Crawford. And he had a chance to fight Terrence Crawford, but instead he's deciding to fight this Mean Machine guy.
You tell me how the number two getting ordered over the one.
And that fight would be easier and that would be an easy fight to make too. The Terrence Crawford fight wouldn't be a problem to make. I'm pretty sure they can do that in a couple of with a handshake, basically. This is crazy.
This is the world of boxing. This is what we live in.
I would respect these fighters more if they would just shut up. I would respect them then. Not say that I want to fight this guy and then you have a chance to fight this guy, but you decide to go in a different direction. And then your fans defend you for going in that different direction, which is not cool. Now, what do you make of Ronnie Shields' comments?
What Ronnie Shields say?
Okay. Number one, David Benavidez said that he would go down to 160 to fight Jamal Charlo. Ronnie Shields said there's nothing to gain from that fight and there's no reason for us to fight him.
There you go.
Ronnie Shields said that before that though. He said that when it was asking him to come up. Ronnie Shields had said it doesn't benefit Charlo to move up to 168. David don't have a belt. But now this something else they said. Like he just flat out and came out and said a couple of days ago he ain't fighting Boo Boo or motherfucking David, regardless at 160.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to get to. He said that because of the Rock Nation situation, which is in the past, mind you, this is in the past, and there's more money on the table right now than the Rock Nation situation. He said that he will not fight Boo Boo Andre. He said some things are unforgivable and that they'll never fight him. So what do you guys think about this situation?
Can't transplant, little Charlo's heart into big Charlo's chest. That's about as plain as I can say it.
He'll duck. Period. He's scared of David, and he seemed like he's scared of Boo Boo. I'm gonna say it because I don't give, bruh. Beat his ass is that much anger. Y'all boxers. These niggas talking about picking up guns and shit. Like these professional boxers talking about picking up guns. Like
yeah,
so,
that's what, and that's one thing in to your point. That's one thing I don't respect about them is because it's like you're talking about stuff like you're from the streets, but it's like leave streets outside of boxing. Leave that on the street.
Bro, you can settle everything in the ring. That's you get paid
exactly.
to do that.
And here's the thing. And I'm not wishing death upon anybody. I'm not wishing death upon nobody. But they need to like really wake up and smell the coffee because niggas are getting aired out on Instagram, getting caught slipping. So I'm just saying that if you're saying all that rah-rah stuff, who's not to say that someone's not gonna catch you on Instagram Live and be like, there goes that nigga right there. because you want to be street instead of focusing on your sport. That's all I'm saying. Talking about I got shooters and
No, that's
stuff
the
like
cow.
it.
I was bringing it up to show the cowardness in them because you a dude that get paid. You a professional boxer. Now you want to go to the guns or just to sit here and say I'm not gonna fight this dude. Like you handle your business in the ring. When you have disagreements and especially with another fighter, somebody that like so you telling me you was never planning to be undisputed at 160. You up here saying Canelo only looking for certain fighters, but it's like you only trying to fight Triple G or Canelo. If it ain't Triple G or Canelo, you ain't gonna fight him. I don't respect it.
Well, here's another thing about that too, bro. His trainer is looking to get paid too. So that's why I was saying earlier that probably what may happen. This is what I'm thinking that's going to happen. Um, Charlo will fight another mandatory, and then he'll be in hopes of getting the Canelo fight after Caleb Plant because his trainer wants to get paid too. That's what it really comes down to. It when you look at the fighters who they asked Ronnie Shields who they would like him Charlo to fight. Even Ronnie Shields, all he says is Canelo. He doesn't mention any other fighters for him to fight.
Crazy, man.
I don't respect that. So
Yep.
like even though you might say Boo Boo did some bullshit, might not been to, he might find something that was better to his business and to the disagreement. I don't agree with what Boo Boo did at that situation either. But nigga, that's not even you. You acting like, you know what I'm saying, he did this shit to you. Bro, you get on the live and call your brother a bitch and y'all be up here at each other necks and shit. So don't act like y'all got this unbreakable bond and shit when y'all very emotional. Bro, you sound scared. So why won't you fight David Benavidez? Nigga, man, come on. What did the last dude he just fought and went like, bro, then looked at oppressive against? You know what I'm saying? What did he
Well,
bring to the
and then
table? Nothing. But you fought him.
you know what too? I'm gonna say something about that too. David Benavidez said he would go to 160 to fight him,
That's
so
even
that would
better.
put
That's a better chance for Charlo at 160.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Charlo would. That's what I'm saying. That's the point I was about to bring up. That everything would favor Charlo in that fight.
He got a weight drain. He done miss weight on the scale before. I mean, at 168. That's how he lost his belt. So if you gonna weight drain another 8 pounds to come down, bro, that's to your advantage.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I done seen them scales take a lot of people old.
True. Now, Hypey, you said you wanted to cook on Wilder, man. Go ahead and cook on Wilder, man. What was on your mind?
Oh yeah, we can kick Wilder ass right now because I ain't talked to you about it, but I know you got some frustrations about this dude who he wake up every fucking morning with a new excuse and Mr. Pro Black and everything about racism. But last time I checked, this the only person that's throwing black men under the bus
I
left and
have a
right without
dream
no
today.
proof, with no proof.
Well,
But
here's
yet
the thing,
everything's
bro.
about racism.
Well, here's the thing, bro. I take this example and I use this example for him um, because Muhammad Ali, when he fought Sonny Liston the first time, he was blinded. Sonny Liston did some underhanded stuff.
Yep.
But guess what? Ali found a way to weather that storm, came out on top. You have to be in that frame of mind every time you go in the ring. So when you accuse a guy of cheating and you've been gassed up by clowns like Young Pharaoh, who, by the way, he can't fight
Hey,
for shit. I looked
hey,
at his fights. That nigga sucks.
He
That nigga
that
garbage.
nigga,
sucks.
Hot
he
I
garbage.
will
trash.
whoop his ass. I will whoop his ass. That's easy work. But
Pharaoh
anyhow,
trash.
um, when you're gassed up by other people and won't take account to what transpired won't admit that, dang, I just wasn't ready for what he was bringing. I wasn't ready for the pressure. I wasn't ready for him to just be that aggressive. Then you're going to believe everything. And you're going to believe that the guys who had your best interests don't have your best interests, and that's why you fired them. And so you look at his
Hey,
new trainer.
do you think he was poisoned?
Hell no. Hell no. Do you?
Oh, of course, fucking not. I'm gonna let you keep building because I got another question. I know I see where you're going when you were saying with the new trainer. Keep building. I got another point, but hell no.
Now let me ask you this. I got a question. Do you think the costume played a factor?
No.
Do you think that what else did he say? He said something else.
Only thing I might think might be legit with them gloves. Hey, Hockey, mute yourself. It's an echo.
Yeah, there's a echo. I don't know who
Yeah,
has it.
it was a hyphy. Hell no, I don't believe that shit. But when it comes to the glove, that's the only thing I might have a question about. Why the hell Corona? Did the disloyal trainer throw in the damn like it's a whole bunch of shit. But him getting a new trainer, Malik Scott at that, I feel like that's a dude boy. That's another yes man that's gonna come in there, which he do not need. He needs somebody that's gonna hold his ass accountable and tell him what to like. He can say all the right shit, but nigga, this man can't make you do shit. How much respect can he really have for this man? Like straight up, like I question that. And if you thought you was cheated, why are you changing any goddamn thing? Would you change something if you was cheated? What got you there?
Um, exactly. That's a good question, bro. Would you have a change of trainer if you thought that the guy you fought cheated? Like, would you have a need to? Why would you change trainers if you thought the guy who you were in there with was
And then
cheating?
on top of that, why the fuck JD instead of if we think we all, cause like I said, I think the gloves got more credence than anything else, cause this shit look funny. Like the placement of his hands and the gloves at certain points and the way he was flapping. So it was questionable about that glove. But other than that, I don't know. And a nigga who like listen, let's think about the craziest shit. I thought about this. What about Mark Billion got fired for JD's mistake? Because if he was cheated, it was through them gloves. That's why I feel like he was cheated for. And Mark Billion threw in the damn towel. If you claiming this man had an egg weight in his glove, you bleeding from your motherfucking ear. We ain't no doctors. We just see blood coming from there. We think something wrong with your head. And now you saying you got a dent in your shit. Why the fuck would you fire the man that saved your life because somebody else made it? Like the camera got cut off. So if I'm to believe anything was a mistake, it was Mark Brilliant throwing in the towel for the safety of your life. That you said you feel like you wasn't in no threat. And the criminal offense took place when Jay Diaz was in that goddamn locker room and allowed him to put something in that glove or allowed him to do what he did to them gloves. Because the camera went off and Jay Diaz was back there. You can't say, like, this is the crazy shit to me when a nigga say he didn't know what he was doing. Then why the fuck is he back there? No, you can't pull that shit with me. So I think Jay Diaz being there is more egregious than all that shit. Even though he threw a black man under the bus and tried to basically smear him for his career, call him a dirty, like somebody that's gonna set his fighter up. I think the most egregious shit was keeping the white boy.
Um, now,
Well,
Hypey, what do you think about the Wilder in his cap? Like, what do you make of it?
Well, to first get on that, to elaborate what Louis was just saying, here's my thing. Now, don't it seem like Jay Diaz would have some incentive to be the snake in the camp this time because you demoted Diaz from being a head trainer to now the assistant, and you bringing in Malik as the head trainer, so he's gonna get all the credit if he gets a win. So wouldn't that give Jay Diaz incentive to do some snake stuff?
Yeah, of course.
And that's somebody who he should already be questioned, because we got pictures of him standing right there looking at the whole gloves situation being wrapped and all that. So if it's any snake on a team is him, now you're gonna piss him off even more.
That's true.
But I'm gonna throw a different curveball at this situation. Now, you've heard people say the fact that Wilder won in arbitration, he won because the judge knows that Fury cheated. Have you heard that?
I have heard that. I have heard that, bro. I've actually heard that, and it's sad that I've heard it, but yes, I've actually heard this. Yes,
Now,
this
if
narrative
that's
has.
if that's the case, so if a judge knows that Fury cheated in a fight, a la using gloves, he poisoned somebody, wouldn't Fury be brought upon some type of legal charges?
Not only that, wouldn't they just throw that fight, or make that fight a no contest?
Right.
Hey, what you was finna
Because
say
there
about
are
that,
no
Joe Breezy?
contest fights. For example, when Uskategi fought, I think it was Anthony Durrell the first time, and Anthony Durrell's uncle got in the ring, caught him with the sucker punch. They actually turned that fight into a no contest.
Yeah, that's some
So they
bullshit.
do that.
That was bullshit in that situation because that was after the fight. The fight was already done. But I think Luis Ortiz, that fight where he popped dirty, was it? Who was it? It was one of his 30 fights. Like and when he just cracked 30 and shit, he got like two no contests. So yeah, you right. It happens. PDs, some proven. It's the courts, but ain't that? Come on, bro. Like who? Like someone please explain, because I don't want to always feel like I'm trying to act like I know it all and shit. Please explain what the fuck the damn procedure was.
Hype. Okay, Hypey, you can take that away. But also, I want to ask all of you guys, just all of you. I mean, do you think he wins the third fight in October?
Hey, Jay Breezy, cook real quick. Hey, because you didn't get to cook on the first parts, and you can get to that one right there. Basically, about his excuses, what you think about all that, and then who you think gonna be like the outcome of the count. You know what I'm saying, of him switching, and who you think gonna be the one of the third fight.
For me, Wilder lost me with the costume shit. That was number one. I was cool with him firing Breland if he was gonna fire him for the towel shit. Saying this is something we discussed. He knows that he's not supposed to ever do that. Nobody in my camp. Fine. Even though I don't like it, I respect him firing him for that reason because that's something y'all allegedly have agreed upon and nobody should be doing in the camp as far as him in the ring. He's just gonna have to go out on the show however it goes. But the spike in the water, the costume, I couldn't feel my legs. Um, I felt different in there. I didn't feel like myself. Um, Kenny Bayless is a drunk. Um, the gloves, uh, all this other shit, I can't get down with it. Now, if any way that Jay Diaz is inspecting your gloves and you say he had no business being in there, right? Inspecting your gloves, he didn't know what he was doing. You either expose yourself as this whole story is bullshit, which I believe it is, or you just didn't want to get rid of this man because you know that you fucked up by having a man in the first place. Which you would have saved face by firing this man, if you ask me, because he's the most egregious person in this whole glove shit, because he's supposed to be the one who taught that. That's his job. That's what he's in there to do, is to find any abnormal behavior being conducted with those reps. That's his job. That's what he's supposed to be in there for. And the fact that you come out later and saying this man he had he had no experience doing this, then what does that say about your team? You should be clearing house at that point, if you ask me. So I would have been cool with Wilder not saying anything at all. Just shut up, fight the third fight, say I lost, because that's what all the great fighters that I've heard in the past, they never made these type of excuses, man. They've never made these type of excuses after a loss. Now, any of the great fighters that I've come to know and look up to coming up watching boxing, Holyfield didn't do it, Lennox Lewis didn't do it, all these cats didn't do it, man. So I'm not cool with it at all, and I'm not gonna back it. But all this fabricated shit with this gloves, man, it just keeps developing a life of its own. Each and every day, they got a new conspiracy on the glove case.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like this before in boxing. That
and
one
yeah,
that
and the
one
sad
fighter
thing,
got one conspiracy on losing the fight.
and
Like,
and and yeah, and the sad thing is you have all these pro blacks and these hoteps not just admitting that there's levels to boxing, and you have people like Young Pharaoh, give that man his belt back, give that man his belt back, and then you have him trying to demonstrate. You have him trying to demonstrate on a punching bag with the shittiest form. I'm like, did Cuz just try to throw a jab? I'm like, did Cuz really think that's a jab? And I'm like, God, Lee, these niggas need to stop. Now, the question I have for all of you guys, I mean, does he win the third fight? That's the real question.
I'll go first. Or Joe Brown, you want to go first?
nah, go ahead.
All right. I'm up and down on this shit, man. I'm just gonna be honest, man. I'm thinking Tyson Fury pulling out because he's scared. I just think he clearly ain't ready. That arbitration, because they didn't get answered. Arbitration is only about the motherfucking contract. Fury is legally bound by a contract that he signed. He promised the rematch, regardless of it, because he was implicated when Wilder was dominant. A-side government. The first contract they had expired, so when they went into the second fight, that was a new contract. When Wilder lost, he activated the rematch clause, which was in the contract that Fury signed. So by what he was obligated in that contract, that's why we had the fight. It was just a big league proceed. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. Go to court, force a bitch, sue him, judge tell him to pay your money. That's all that type shit was. It wasn't that this proved Tyson Fury did some crazy shit so we get a fight. No, it's saying he owed it. So with that being said, I see that ruling like it was a month after the ruling, a little bit over a month, probably 45 days or some shit like that, that fight had to take place. I don't. We seen Deontay training through arbitration. We didn't see Tyson Fury doing shit, but out there partying WWE. He's at events and shit. You know what I'm saying? He doing all type of shit. He up here talking about the AJ shit. He ain't studying Wilder. So I don't think he was in shape 45 days in. I think if Wilder can't step to this man, which he haven't done in neither fight until the 12th round when he knocked his ass. If he don't step to this man, Tyson Fury gonna win this fight. And I just think he's doing this shit to get using the time to get in shape because he wasn't in shape. It was clearly, and I don't feel like it was fair to Tyson Fury. If you talking about you trying to prove some shit, you should get him at his best. Don't try to catch him when he's like this here. So it's fucked up he had to do it, but he did it. If it happens again, I might start wavering to Wilder. I want Wilder to win. I'm not even hoping Fury wins, so I'm going for Wilder to win. But my heart and my mind telling me if Wilder can't step forward and he ain't even done it in any one of these fights, he ain't gonna win this fight. So I'm think I'm gonna fucking favor fucking Fury, but I'm picking Wilder.
All right, fair enough.
Um, Look, it is. This is where you can say, "Oh, I sound like a hater." I'm acknowledging it, but I don't care because I gotta say how I really feel. It's
Speak your
wild.
mind, fam.
It's Wilder's fan base that's making me want to see him lose the third
Go
fight.
ahead, speak it, talk it.
The delusional stuff they saying, the excuses, everything just more and more that's coming out. All this race baiting, black power stuff. You got to support the black fires, stay on code, and all that. That's the stuff that's making me. It's not even about Wilder losing. It's about me laughing at them and seeing them lose their minds and commit suicide because they king lost. That's the part I really want to see. So it's not even about Wilder. Um, I think if I had to put money on, I would put money on Fury winning. But I actually think the third fight is going to end either Fury wins a competitive fight, and I'm not ruling out the possibility of a draw.
Okay, that's fair enough. So,
Well,
Jay Brown, what about you? What do you think?
uh, the former Wilder fan in me is wanting to see this man get his revenge and um and do what a lot of you know great heavyweights have done by avenging their losses in the rematch and become the champion again. Uh, I want to see that story for him, um, but there's a lot of things about Wilder that's turned me off. As far as the glove shit, the accusations with no proof. They want Fury to provide proof of COVID, but they've never provided proof of any of the evidence that they claim to have about the glove and the cheating. Um, they say, look at the footage, look at the footage. Okay, well, when the footage wasn't there, y'all wasn't saying anything. As far as I was concerned, I didn't hear them talking about no gloves before Young Pharaoh started talking about it. And the LDBC started piggybacking, the Eagle and all these other channels started piggybacking off. I didn't hear nothing about gloves. Did you?
No, I haven't. I didn't hear anything about gloves, bro.
Exactly. They was talking about costumes and Breland throwing in the towel. And then, you know, the glove shit came later. And then after that, the water bottle incident. I mean, what I'm summing it down to is that a part of me still wants Wilder to win and get his retribution if this shit really did happen to him, like he say, which I don't believe. Um, but just the part of him losing his belt, I want to see him win it back because that's a good story. And I like to see guys, prove people wrong when everybody's, counting them out. I like to see that. But I believe that Fury is the better fighter. I believe that Fury is the guy who's going to make adjustments if adjustments need to be made. And Wilder has some things he could do in order for him to win. I've seen him do it before. As far as the dual plus fight, I've seen him be able to box and work off the jab and throw his right hand and move around and avoid shots and when a guy's coming at him. But I don't see him wanting to do that. He shouldn't do this in this fight. He needs to come forward and be the guy who dictates the action and brings the fight to Fury. He has to bring the fight to Fury in order for him to win. So I think he can do it. So I think he's capable of doing it. Yes, he's capable of doing it. Will he do it for a little bit and abandon the game plan? Will he listen to Malik Scott? That's the $1 million question. Because we saw him try to do, throw jabs to the body in the beginning of the second fight, and then all of a sudden he just completely abandoned that shit in the second round, and it was forgotten tool the rest of the fight. He didn't even try. So I want Wilder to win, but most likely Fury probably wins the fight.
Salute to you, Brown Eyes Nurse. Just we're in the manuscript right now, cooking on this boxing. So I understand if you peace out, but to your point, Hyphy, put it this way. If Wilder was to lose, I would make so many memes on him. It's not even funny, bro. I would like roast the crap out of him. I would roast his fan base. I would just like go in so much. Trust me, bro. I would go in a lot. I
I will.
especially would go in on Young Pharaoh too. I would
I
roast the.
cuss them
I
out
wouldn't.
because it's them doing it to him, man. I don't want to see. I want him to depart from this shit, man.
What
Wilder was
this?
a
What
solid ass
this?
dude,
This?
bro.
This? What this?
This
Like
image he
this
turned
fake
himself
pro black.
into. Yeah, this image
This
he turned
fake.
himself to. Because he
Yeah.
wasn't nothing like this. He was humble. Like Wilder ain't humble
Yeah.
no more. Wilder think he got it. Like straight up. You can listen to how he be talking. Like, oh, get the whispering and talking about I feel it. I feel
Yeah.
it. Like that. That's all ego.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
ain't never
Yeah.
do no
Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Wilder
Yeah.
need to
Hey,
get
Yeah.
back to where he was. Leave that race shit out of there. We know it's there. Not saying don't speak on it, but all like you the face of the shit. But then when we ask you where the fuck you at, oh, I'm chilling with my family. Like you, come on, man, this shit crazy.
Yeah. 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 Um. You know, bro. It and that's the reason why I had and that's the reason why I had to separate myself from like I'm not gonna make them famous or anything, but that's why I had to separate myself from the coincidental group because they were so race driven that it was
Black
like
Power.
yeah it was like they were so race driven that not even an immigrant black could eat under their table, and it's like damn my nigga, he's black too. Like what the hell, like now you hating on immigrants, black people too. But the thing about Wilder is, even during the press conference when he had the earphones on and stuff like that, he was trying to like be psychological and stuff like that. All he really had to say. This is all he had to say. I'm not saying talking like that. A man. I'm not trying to tell a man what he should say or tell a man how he should act. Well, all I'm saying is all he needed to do was say, okay, it's gonna go down on this date. It's gonna go down in this ring and stuff like that. That's all he had to do is say we're gonna have to see once we get in the ring. But instead, he tried to like present this image that I'm just like I'm beyond words now, uh, and things like that. And his fans, and unfortunately, what his fans believe is that he's gonna knock him out now. Oh, he's gonna do this. Oh, he's gonna do that. And my other problem with Wilder is he actually said um I have a very violent mind and there's going to be a homicide in the ring. But it's like, bro, this is not the thing you say if you got your ass whooped the last fight, bro. You don't say things like that because what's going to happen is that energy that you put out like that is going to be turned into you possibly having or us possibly praying that yellow tape is not spread for your ass for catching a ass whooping badly. You know what I mean? Because he said that in an article. I was reading that article that he
John
wants to.
Fury said they gonna kill him. Fury said they gonna kill him too. Hey, we beyond on pleasantries at this point. Wilder on the
Yeah,
notion that he got cheated, man. He might look in the mirror and sometimes don't believe it. He slap himself to get back into that mindset. He got to believe it. That's the only way he gonna
yeah.
beat this man, bro. Cause if he didn't, listen, I'm telling you some shit. I said this in the back. I said
Okay.
if Wilder get in that ring and Fury hit that man said there's something in his glove. And they take that glove off, ain't shit in that glove because they can't say they can't stop it because Fury, they had stopped the whole fight before with Fury for him to retape his gloves and redo his gloves. Ain't nothing in that glove. It ain't nothing shaking him back from that. I don't. Wilder gotta be able to say fuck the excuses. He shouldn't got hit like that. Ain't nobody telling him what he did wrong. Everybody saying I knew you was. You was poison, and like you say, the fake hope tips. But man, when I look at the sport, and I understand what you're saying because these niggas got an influence. But I try to say fuck them as much as I can to try to stay pure to the sport, because if not, I don't see myself no different from the like Wilder. Hyphy said he might sound like a hater, but it is some hating ass shit to say that you want this man to lose because you know what I'm saying. These hoe ass niggas to prove a point to them. Yeah, they some bitch ass niggas, but this ain't the Wilder that made me come back to boxing. This is not, and I feel like he's in there somewhere. He need to go find him. That's what he should be doing. When I say be quiet, don't say shit to nobody. Don't say shit to nobody. Don't come out a month later talking about you gonna roll a nigga over like a train because he said he was gonna run you down like an 18 wheeler. You should have said it at the press conference. Oh, I got my headphones on. I can't hit, man. It was just a whole bunch. It's just a whole bunch of beta shit going on, and I just feel like me wishing down on him make me no better than them niggas spreading their propaganda because I'm just doing it to hope that they lose. Now I feel like the karma in the universe, regardless, they gonna get theirs. I just hope it ain't at the expense of Wilder. If it is, it's his fault. Cause like with the twerking shit, it's a whole bunch of shit Wilder been doing crazy and
Yeah,
niggas talking about stay
hey,
on
you know
code.
what, bro? That's another thing about, and I hate to cut you off, but when you are a Wilder Man fan and you justify his twerking, it's like, bro, if you were in my face, I'm sorry, I would test your jaw. I would test your jaw, like on God. I would test your jaw. And I've unfortunately I have heard fans justify his twerking. They say, well, it's okay for him to twerk, but it's not okay for Ryan Garcia. It no, it's not okay for Wilder to twerk, but it's okay for Ryan Garcia to twerk. Nigga, both actions are queer, nigga. Regardless of where they come from, they're both queer. Okay, no matter what the who's doing it. So don't try to justify stupidness
Bro,
because the person
real
shares your
man,
complexion.
real man don't condone that shit. And if a nigga in your circle doing that, you gonna check his bitch ass for that shit. You gonna tell him that shit, yo, they ain't how we get down over here.
I'll be like, don't do that shit around me because people gonna think we alike or some shit. But my point of saying is like it's hard to defend, but like I'm not gonna go that far. You know what I'm saying? Like if it happens, it happens, and you could just tell by their topic. These niggas ain't shit. You gotta attack them directly, not by no fighter, because all they gonna do is bounce the fighter to fighter.
Hmm. You
That's all
gonna
they
see?
doing. Next trend, they gonna try to create
Hey,
something else or stay on that and try to. If Wilder lose his fight, he gonna retire. In my at first I said no, but after looking at all, yeah, Wilder gonna retire. But I don't think he gonna lose. I think it's gonna be a lot more competitive. That what my heart want, but my mind say Fury gonna win. I ain't gonna say Wilder ain't gonna lose.
Hey
bro, they
Fuller, you got Wilder twerking. You got Earl hanging out with rappers, kissing them and stuff. It's wild out here.
Salute Milo Corner. That's why he said that. Salute to you, brother.
hey, hey, they gonna jump. But you already know what's gonna happen. The fan base is gonna go from Wilder to Spence. All of them gonna put all their resources and all their energy behind Spence if Wilder loses this fight. That's just what it's gonna be.
Speaking of Spence, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about that a little bit. Now, do you think that like Spence maybe is like maybe still into the old Spence, meaning like still into partying and still into the other stuff? Because I'm not trying to question him or anything like that, but I just find it surprising that all of a sudden that nigga's full back, his whole back is graffiti now. You know what I mean? Out of nowhere.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far. I don't think he doing as much as he used to. If he still drink, you're a grown ass man. As long as you do anything in moderation, there's no problem. It's once it become a, you do anything in excess, that's when it becomes a problem. But I feel like you know when you should see Earl at them fights, he drunk. He would like he did his first on like what fight was that? Um, he was up there on the panel doing the talking and shit. I ain't seen him do that in a long time. So I don't think they'd have put him up there if he was drunk. So he
Yeah,
came out
that
and did the little
Ortiz.
interview and admitted to the mistakes that people used to try to cover up and make excuses for. He said, "Yeah, I wasn't 100% on Mikey." He said, "I probably trained like 2 weeks before the fucking Mikey fight." Like straight up, he said, "I ain't do everything I needed to do." Sean Porter, he said, it took him a long time to cut weight and shit like that. And he said the accident really showed him that it was a blessing. It woke his eyes up. He could be saying all the right shit, but I think that makes it even worse if you go out there and make that mistake. Because now you acknowledge the problem because it was clearly a problem because it almost took your life. Now you got a second chance, and if the reports of what people saying around you is true, and they ain't just trying to cash you out, they saying you ain't nothing wrong with you. I don't think he's out there doing the same thing he was doing before at the same
Um,
rate.
now, do you feel that? I mean, how do you feel? Because this has been being said. Everybody has known Spence to be like the dude who chops the tree down. He like, in the later rounds, he really puts it on you, and eventually that leads him putting it on you leads to the stoppage. Right now, do you guys feel that we're gonna see that vintage Spence versus Pacquiao, or are we gonna see another 12 round Spence? What do y'all feel?
I'll take that.
Go
I
ahead, bro.
feel I feel like him reuniting with Blu-ray is him understanding that there's some things that he thought that he could do, and it wasn't as effective without Blu-ray. Some guys hear some things about, oh, Blu-ray, 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 Blu-ray. You know, oh, you getting all the knockouts. Oh, you work with Blu-ray. He wanted to see if he could do these things without Blu-ray. Come to find out that a lot of the work he was putting in with Blu-ray is a large part to why he's been able to literally get these guys, break these guys. He's always had the ability to break guys down, but he was breaking guys down and stopping guys. Blu-ray wasn't there. He was breaking guys down, but he wasn't getting them out of there. And sometimes when he was trying to break guys down, he wasn't fully breaking them down to the point where they were totally ineffective. So I believe him reconnecting with Blu-ray because when you see him now, he's a lot. He looks like he's in peak condition even right now, and usually he's doing a lot of cutting weight. I don't see him cutting a lot of weight, and even when you seen him at the press conference, he looked he looked like he's ready to fight. He looked like he's ready to fight right now, and his size and everything, he looks real strong. So I believe he's taking this fight with Pacquiao very serious, and he wants to make a statement. Based upon some of the things that he's done, reconnected with his strength and conditioning trainer that got him on that knockout streak that we saw him go through, where he was breaking guys down and stopping them. I think that's a tribute to him recognizing that, hey, I need to get back on this formula because this formula is what got me here.
I'm gonna
Good
keep it
point.
short and simple. Short and
Good
simple.
point.
Remember Danny Garcia fight? How you putting them boom bombs on his bitch ass until his
Yeah.
gas tank went out? I think you finna see a fresh like if this doing everything he need to. Man, Manny Pacquiao finna get beat the fuck up. And you can make me eat crow later because Manny stay in this fight. I understand he is what he is. But what I saw in them first 6 rounds against Danny, bro, that was better than Sean, Mikey, all that shit. And it's just only thing he gassed out, and that was his first fight coming back. I feel like he gonna be a lot more hydrated. I mean, acclimated to his weight, like you said with Blu-ray. That's something I feel like he should have did a long time ago because sometimes it ain't how hard you being a beast. Sometimes somebody harder than you need that person to push you, and that's what Blu-ray is. He just makes sure he's in shape because the core it starts at the core, and then I can tell how he trained like Blu-ray the screen court. So when I look at it, Earl finna come in there, probably the best we've seen him in a couple of years, if he's right, and I believe he is. I want to see his gas tank improved from what he did in Danny, he gonna wash Manny.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Hypey, you got anything you want to add on that?
Nah, they said it well between the three of y'all, so we could keep it going. We could shift on.
Yeah, hey, whatever y'all want to kick the crap about, let me know.
Well,
And
let,
then we
let me
could
recap back to last weekend and what was your thoughts on that Castano versus Charlo fight?
man, Charlo got his ass whooped and outworked. I watched that fight 3 times. I watched that fight 3 times. I'm like, yeah, that nigga got his ass whooped. That nigga got his ass whooped. And the only reason why they tied that fight is number one, it was in Texas. That was the first thing. So they, I mean, if you're coming in and you're fighting at a nigga's hometown, you literally have to take that nigga's. You have to take it no matter what. You have to really take it. You have to come in with your mask on, your gun drawn, and be like, "This is my shit. I'm taking this shit." And meaning that you have to like beat the nigga down. Jamel Charlo was getting his ass whooped in that fight. Um, and even if you okay, let's say he wasn't getting his ass whooped. Let's take the ass whooping part out of it. He was getting outworked. That's the bottom line. He was getting like Brian Castano was the busier fighter. Let's put it that way. And usually judges like to see busyness. Okay. So for me personally, I had to fight 7-5 for Castano. What do you have it at? What do you think of that fight?
Hey, based on what he said about him getting his ass whooped, I'd expected a larger score gap than 7-5.
Yeah. He got his ass body wire from pillar to post. 6'6".
No, but he did get his ass whooped. He did get his
Nah,
ass whooped though.
I disagree. I feel like Castano tailed off towards the last end. He didn't really win a lot of those early rounds decisively. He turned on late in certain rounds trying to steal it. Even though you might feel like it was a pillow jab, nigga, it was efficient. Castano didn't do shit till he got him to the ropes, right? Well, did he beat his ass in the middle of the ring? He didn't do. And how often did he
Nah,
get him to?
that's one thing he lacked.
And Charlo, hold up, and mind you, Charlo could have fought because that's what he did in the second half when he was when Derrick James told him keep his bitch ass off the ropes. He started twirling. I mean, he started pivoting. You know what I'm saying? Except for going to the ropes when he was coming in. Except for letting him cut him off into a corner. He was going to the ropes trying to counter him, trying to catch him, because Castano was putting in some good work, but it wasn't efficient. So I'm looking at 30 seconds, 45 seconds to 2 minutes of a jab, even if it's slow and steady, he's still to me doing the most working around. We go look at total punches. This man, Charlo hit this man with 8 some punches through 2 minutes to this man 2 punches through 2 minutes. And then this man goes shoot off 20 punches in the last 30 seconds and it wins on the round. I wasn't judging it like that. I had it 7-5 for Charlo. It was close. I felt like Charlo won the first, the second, the fifth, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
So what? Okay, that's fair enough. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about it?
I had it the same way as far as 7-5 for Charlo, and I had those rounds that people that are in question, the first, um, the 11th, those two rounds. A lot of people have those rounds, you know what I'm saying, flipped. So instead of me, because like Louis said, there's quite a few rounds where Castano was clearly just trying to steal the round. You know, he wasn't doing much in the center of the ring, and when he got Charlo, when Charlo got on the ropes, he was throwing shots. Some of them shots were getting blocked, like he was throwing shots to the body, throw a left hook to the body, try to come up top with the right, and some of those shots were getting deflected. Maybe one or two might get through, and that was it. And it looked good because he had Charlo in defensive position. But at the end of the day, how effective really was it? It was just showing more of his aggression, and being that Charlo wasn't really doing anything super dominant for most of the round, even though he was the guy who was leading around most of the round. You know, if he would have been throwing his jab and throwing the right hand and even shooting the uppercut, on the inside when Castano was trying to mount his offense, just mixing it up, because in the center of the ring he was throwing the jab. Castano had no worries about anything coming behind it, and that's the problem that I had with Charlo the whole fight. He was not listening to Derek James. He was not listening to his corner man, giving him ample advice, telling him exactly what he needs to do, and he just made it difficult on himself when he had some advantages that he didn't utilize. So credit to Castano for applying the game plan the way he applied it. He was more effective with his game plan most of the fight, because I've seen Castano fight in other fights, and he gave Charlo a lot of respect compared to when he fought Lara. He just came after Lara the whole entire fight. I mean, from pressing forward from the first second of the round all the way through, he had Lara on the back foot. So
Okay. Yeah.
that was a completely different Castano. He was more patient. He was more measured, and
Yeah.
he stuck to what the game plan was, and he had a lot. His straight right was better than I had seen him throw it. So he was throwing a lot more straight punches than I've seen him throw, and he made adjustment after he got hurt second round throwing his hook, and he got caught by Charlo with the left hook. Charlo caught him with his left hook, ended up hurting him. So he made adjustments. He shortened up his shot. He was more defensive. He didn't get caught until later in the 11th round, which hurt him. But that was a deflection. So imagine if that punch actually landed flush, he probably would have dropped him. But
Charlo
it's
hurt
a
that
quick.
bitch 3 times, and it was the 10th round. And Charlo hurt that bitch 10 times. I mean, 3 times in that round. The first shot that hurt him was the one that came off the glove when Charlo punched the nigga glove. The man glove, his own glove, goes to his mouth and open him up. That's when he goes open. You know what I'm saying? Charlo started
That's the
chasing this
punch.
bitch ass.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the punch that I was talking about. Because if that punch would have landed flush, then who knows? That fight would have probably been over. If the fact that he had that much power to hurt him off a deflection, that says a lot. So um, credit to Charlo for getting back in the fight and being able to change the complexion of the fight. Listening to his corner, but not fully listening to him like he should have earlier on. Had he been throwing the right hand more in the center of the ring, we probably had a different outcome of that fight. That fight would have probably been lopsided, unanimous decision, possibly, stopping him. But
Hypey, what do you think about it? What do you think?
I had Castano winning 7-5. I felt the thing about Castano was and there's a reason why Charlo could never really get no offense going regularly. Castano all night he fought with a tight high guard that he kept up. But Castano he would dip, and it's in a Canelo like way. When he cocked back his shoulder a little bit, you don't know which punch is coming. You don't know if he's throwing it upstairs or downstairs.
Mm.
He was real crafty with like his style is real crafty if you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had him winning that fight though. It was definitely a close one. I'm not mad at a draw at most, but I had him winning that fight 7-5.
Yeah. Um, the thing is about it is, I guess he kind of took him off guard with the whole, like he had like kind of like a mini peekaboo style where he would just like um come under the punches and then hit something big. Now, I mean, do you think the rematch happens immediately, or do you think that they're going to try to do these Mandos before the rematch?
the man,
Uh, the way to me the way that I understand it is it's like the Mando is pretty much necessary, but which is kind of funny because we always hear unification come over mandatory. So this is all in-house PBC. So why don't that apply at this situation?
well, I'll say this for the mandatory situation, and there's already been 2 exemptions for the IBF. I mean, for the for the IBF mandatory. Um, when Rosario had it, they put an exemption in for the IBF mandatory spot for unification. So it's been done twice already. And at the same time, we can't fault the IBF for forcing this mandatory. They've already allowed 2 exemptions, and undisputed was just fought. So that's Castano and that's Charlo's fault for not winning that fight. So at some point, that mandatory has to get completed. I mean, there's only but so much exemptions that these sanctioning bodies can give out and allow. I mean, they did their job allowing undisputed to happen. So the mandatory has to be next.
Yeah, yeah, basically. Now whatever y'all want to like cook on, just spit it out and we just cook on it. You know what I mean?
Garbage
Um,
ass rolling.
huh? You
Garbage
said
ass
what?
rolling. Garbage ass rolling.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go hyphen.
Oh, you talking about Rolly? He fought on the undercard. I didn't, I didn't see his fight, so I can't really speak on that.
Man, man, you full of shit, man. Well, mute yourself real quick. Man, listen, Rolly Romero so damn trash. Listen, this man calling out Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, all them niggas ducking him. Have you ever seen what's his name officially, Joseph Brown? Rondando, whatever. Well, what's his name?
Rolando Romero. Rolando
Yeah,
Romero.
you know him then. What's your thoughts on him? You think he got potential to do anything, to be anything?
Before Joseph Brown goes, let me just go real quick and then I'll let Joseph Brown go. Here's what I'm surprised about Rolly. Rolly is of Cuban descent, and those Cuban fighters usually emphasize boxing before fighting. It's about boxing for them. It's about the footwork. It's about the angles. It's about keeping at the end of the jab. It's about staying off the center line. Rolly is the most non-Cuban Cuban fighter I have ever seen in my life, and there's some sparring footage of him sparring Devin Haney, and Devin Haney was tapping that ass. I'll say that nigga was going upside his head like or beating his head like a djembe drum, basically.
So what you think? He got no. You get do he have a ceiling? What's
Um,
the ceiling?
I mean, the
Journeyman,
thing is,
champion, prospect.
I hate to say this. I hate to say this, bro, and I'm gonna sound like really disrespectful, but I really think Floyd doesn't care about him that much because if he did, he would pull him to the side and say, "Yo, man, you got to learn how to box, my dude. You got to learn these angles, these footwork. You got to learn how to put these combinations together where they're not expecting them to come together." So I really don't think like Floyd cares about that dude, man. It's sad to say it, but I just really think so.
I disagree. But go ahead, Joe Brown. I'll let y'all know why I disagree. I think Floyd care about him. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say something nice about the garbage motherfucker. Jay Breezy.
Joe, you there?
Probably stepped away. I'll go. Um
Hey, go ahead.
I think Rolly's offense is his face. I mean his defense is his face. You ain't never seen Rolly. You ain't seen no footage of him being put on his pockets or none of that shit. He ain't got no footwork. You can look at him and see he probably have no formal boxing training. He's a late bloomer. Nothing technical about him. He just got raw power, like you say, for him to be a Cuban. But I think his defense is his head. I don't think niggas just gonna knock him out. And he got power to make you step back. And I don't think he gonna do that in no full fight. Was it with headgear, or was they just out there naked in the sparring?
Nah, it was like when he was sparring Devin Haney, they were wearing full gear.
Yeah, so hey, he ain't gonna be taking them shots like that from Rolly in the ring. I think he outbox him, catch Rolly at angles. So in sparring, he's allowed to absorb a lot of that damage because of that cushion, and Rolly's a bomb and he ain't throwing them correctly. So he's able to get off a lot more work. But in a fight, though, even though he ain't throwing them correctly, they still hitting him, and it ain't no damn padding down there. You know what I'm saying? So he will feel him, so he won't be so quick to just stand in front of Rolly. Rolly's best chances is just to be like a George Joyce and be a juggernaut. That's just how I view George Rolly, because I don't think you can teach him no footwork. I think he got two left feet. He's uncoordinated. He don't got that much athleticism, even though he's strong as shit. His athleticism is, like I said, he got two left feet. So I think his best thing is to just try to walk a motherfucker down, and you know what I'm saying.
Is he like a lightweight Wilder, basically? Is that what you're saying?
Man, y'all
Nah, nah.
disrespectful, man. Wilder way more talented than that, man. Even when he was coming up, is way more. Like Roller couldn't win no damn bronze medal. He could he couldn't get that far. Like straight up, he couldn't get that far. Um, I think Roller got a 9-year-old style or an 8-year-old style. 'Cause I know a couple 9-year-old amateur boxers that they throw him straighter than him. So I don't know who to compare this dude to. I
I
don't
do.
know.
I know who to compare him to.
Somebody say Sean Porter because he wild, but Sean Porter got
Nah,
some type of
nah,
coordination.
that's too much credit. You gotta go. You gotta go to the 154 division. The guy who took unified belts from J
Jared
Rock, J
Hurd.
Rock, Jared
Jared
Oh,
Hurd.
Hurd.
Jason
He's a
Rosario?
Jared
no,
Jason
Hurd. Jared
Rosario?
Hurd.
Jared
Jared
Hurd. I'm
Hurd.
talking about.
Oh,
I
Jared
never
Hurd.
thought.
Jared
I'm gonna
Hurd.
tell you. I'm
Oh,
gonna tell you like this, fool. I never thought I would in a million years see a dude who's trying to become a worse version than Jared Hurd, and it happened so quickly though. I didn't think it would happen so fast. But this guy is the reincarnation of Jared Hurd. This is what this dude is right now. He can't box. He does so many things wrong in the ring, and you see everything he does wrong, but yet he still wins
um,
because of who he's fighting. Right? He
yeah.
he's a walking punching bag. Like literally, I don't know how this cat is going to be able to talk in the next 3 years if he's stepping up in competition and fighting, elite guys.
If you listen to him closely, he sound like he's slurring already.
Yeah, he is. It does sound like it a little bit, actually. Yeah.
I mean, he has to be delusional thinking that he can actually beat any of these guys. And Jim Gray is such an asshole when he was interviewing him. I was laughing because when Rody was naming off these fighters, he's like, "Why do you think
Oh shoot.
Yeah, man, Jeff Gray ain't shit, man. Like straight up, I remember that shit. Like
Yo, I'm done.
Rolly always looking mad. He even like he looked confused when he said that shit. Like motherfucker, you should have said no shit like that. You know how he always mad, but he got like that little confused. Like I ain't no way that man just said that shit to me. Rolly know he trash, and Rolly name is he can go in the doghouse with all the fighters, get beat up, and still keep going in. That's his name. He don't quit. That's it.
Um, okay.
and to me, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why is TMT promoting this kid and he's that fucking bad? I don't understand it.
He can
Well,
get better, bro, but he shouldn't be in the limelight right now. Just look at Regis Prograis. He'll tell you, bro, like when him coming up, when Earl Num was in the Olympics and he was sparring partners for cats and shit like that, nobody looked at him to be no champion of no division to be. They said his style but he went in there and he perfected it. And by the time we seen him, he still make a couple mistakes, but he's sharpening it up. He constantly working on his craft. Rolly don't look like he doing nothing, eating burritos and talking shit. Y'all there?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's what I think about it though. But Hyphy, break down your what you say. Other than that, 'cause I know you seen him fight before. What do you do? You cause like people saying it wasn't impressive, man. Dude was a bomb. Like dude got hurt from Rolly first punch to the body. He damn near doing from one side, the middle of the ring to the corner with one body shot. I swear to God, like like Rolly carried the dude a little bit and still barely like he was doing looking retarded in there, jumping, throwing punches. Like straight up, he was jumping, throwing punches. His jab was strong as a motherfucker. He ain't throw nothing without power. Like it was some funny shit. And even dude got off some decent work, but it didn't. It never hurt Rolly. Rolly just kept coming and eventually knocked his ass out. Do you think he got potential to become anything in the division? In any
Um,
division?
it depends on the opposition in that division, but if you talking about 135, um, that's gonna be. I mean, there's smoke and out and there's levels, and I just think that like, I mean, the only guy I give him a chance to beat at 135 is Ryan Garcia. That's it, pretty much. That's the only chance I give him, really.
I got
But
money
other
on
than
Ryan. Ryan gonna clip that bitch ass nigga, boy. Like Ryan ain't that much of a bomb. I Ryan, I don't think he beat Linares.
shoot, well, we know how Linares is like. We know how Linares gets busted open easily, so he there's a chance, but I mean, I think even Linares may be faster than Roly, actually, though.
Man, that
Lenore's
nigga Gidget.
Lenore's right hand's gonna knock Rolly head
Listen,
around his
Gidget was
fucking
able
shoulder.
to hit Rolly. Morero, the dude that was boxed, the Cuban with the one with the left hand and probably threw six rights and landed all of them through the fight. That whooped him with a left. Like like straight up, like I don't see this man like Linares gonna pop his ass. He gonna test him early, get him out of there. Like Rolly ain't got no damn defense. He like his. I'm telling you, it's
Well,
him
and
taking the
that's
shot.
and and not to cut you off, but that's what trips me out about it because Cubans are really big on defense. You know, that's the thing. Cubans like they're big on defense. Even if they're like offensive fighters, they're still like defensively responsible, but he's none of the above. That's what trips me out.
Ryan got a good check left hook too, bro. That's gonna fucking murder Rolly. Like Rolly ain't gonna hit that man like that. I think like he ain't better than Campbell. Bro. Rolly is the shit. Like can Rolly make 126?
Nah, he can't because
It's over with.
when he's not fighting, that dude like balloons up to like very, very high. He definitely can't make 126.
Yeah. That man is successful. He's open for every punch that anybody can think about throwing. And I'm not trying to clown him at this point, but I'm just being real. Any punch that anybody wants to throw, he's open for it.
Yeah. No, I understand, man. I understand. Um, I honestly think what they should do, what they should do, since they're both in-house fighters, but and I know Rolly can make 140. That's not a problem. What they should do is they should really just have Rolly and Richardson Hitchens fight each other because I remember there was some back and forth with those two and Shakur Stevenson. There was some back and forth. They were on a live and they were going at each other, and so I think honestly, um, that's a fight that could be made. is him and Richardson Hitchens. But I got Richardson Hitchens boxing circles around dude.
Yeah, that's when they was all on live calling Rolly trash, Tank, the dude you were talking about Hitchison and Shakir. It was all on
Yeah,
live calling the man doodle like, man, that
yeah,
man dumpster go. Yeah, Rolly can. Yeah, Rolly just he got to work on his skill. He talk way more shit. Like niggas say he trying to be the villain, but I just think he playing the dunce, the class clown, and eventually, nigga, we all gonna laugh at you at the expense of you. And you could tell he got anger problems, man. Like somebody need to put that man in counseling. Like straight up,
yeah.
like I don't even think it's a facade. Like when he out there doing that bullshit, that's all. Like dude, just strictly emotion. I can sit there and say like, bro, he might fuck around and catch one of them dudes just because that's how he feel. But I think he gonna get embarrassed by anybody like Linares, motherfucking Campbell, Tank David
Hmm.
sleeps him, Devin Haney
Hmm.
might sleep him, Teofimo Lopez sleep him, Ryan Garcia sleep him, like Tevin
Hmm.
Farmer outbox him, motherfucking Miguel Bachel knocks his bitch ass out, JoJo
Mm.
Diaz outbox him. I'm just
Mm.
going down a list of a lot of fighters I don't
Yeah,
see
that's
this
what I'm
man with
saying.
no
You going
smoke.
in on him. Going
Straight
in
up.
on him.
That just being real, man. He's untalented. Go up to 140, nigga. You man, Ivan Barachek beats the fuck out of him, nigga. Zapata gonna stay at 140, give him the business. Who can he who can he move up or go up and fight the like he don't got no light touches. He need to get in the gym. Point blank period. He need to
Okay.
be working on some shit. He got a little bit better
Okay.
though. I will say that, but it ain't enough. It ain't enough.
Okay. So
Hey,
offer. Go ahead.
oh no, all right. I'm gonna ask you this one. Like putting defense and skill and all that aside, who is the most exciting fighter just for you to see in boxing right now?
For me personally, excitement wise, personally, this is just my opinion. It's Boots Ennis. The only problem is he's not active enough. It's the only problem. Because usually when you're a young fighter, a prospect coming up, you're active. You know, you got fights like back to back because chances are you if you're good, you're not taking a lot of damage, you're not taking a lot of punishment, so you're still fresh, you're still clean, you're still able to get back in there with a quick turnaround. But me personally, I like watching. I just find excitement in watching Joran Ennis. That's just me personally because he just has like everything that you can ask for. You know, it's not like he can't crack an egg. That dude can crack, but he also has the other things too. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm not the type of nigga who gets excited from watching niggas block shots with their heads. Um, Coincidentally, a certain group of people think that's being a warrior. That's why they like Virgil Ortiz. That's why they like Miguel Burchett. That's why they like Oscar Valdez. But skills equals excitement to me personally. That's just me. But so I say Boots Ennis.
Hey, I was talking about him last night, man. He's one of my high him he's one of the highest prospects in boxing for me. And when I think about him, I think about not so much the knockouts, but I love how he sets up his shots. And I love how he sets traps for other fighters. At a guy being so young, he's doing that already. He breaks guys down. He forces guys to throw punches that he wants them to throw to set them up for something 3, 4 shots down the line that they don't see coming. And to me, that's the beautiful art of Booth Ennis and his skill set that's going to carry him to elite level the more he goes up the ladder for me.
And okay, and I'm gonna mention one more fighter that I find exciting and that had his setback at the beginning of his career, but has since now um like reinvented himself.
August.
and I'm gonna say Erickson Lubin because when I watched the Jason Rosario fight, that nigga was just doing a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, he did some he did some things that I had to watch twice to see that, yo, that nigga did that. And into the blind eye, it might not look like he did some stuff, but I like, for example, how that nigga was just setting up shots from hitting the glove. That nigga would hit the glove. After hitting the glove, that nigga would go to the body and then come from the body and go on top. And that's how he knocked him down. He went from the body and he hit Jason Rosario in the ear. And the thing is about Erickson Lubin that a lot of people underestimate is his hand speed. That nigga got some fast hands,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yes, he do.
So what about you?
I'm gonna say Mike Tyson and keep it simple, man. These
No, right
niggas,
now,
yeah,
right now.
right now, like these niggas ain't doing shit. Like Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones is better than a lot of this shit, man. Like straight up, boxing full of shit. You got YouTubers infiltrating this motherfucker. We can't act like we getting motherfucking fine dinner,
Twice we
nigga.
want.
Like this is straight fast food McDonald's type shit. Like this ain't nothing fancy about no 5-star restaurant, no Benny Hunters, none of that shit, nigga.
No Ruth Chris. No Ruth
Nigga,
Chris, huh?
bruh, nigga, $5 to go bags, nigga. Get your bitch ass out of here. Like
Bro.
boxing full of shit to me right now. It was Wilder, but then y'all know,
Yeah, we know.
nigga lost me. So
Yeah. What about you, Hypey? Who do you like to watch?
All right. It to me right now it's looking like that. Brandon Figueroa.
Yeah.
Now he one of them dudes. He fight face first and he make a lot of mistakes, but that dude just do not stop throwing punches. Like no matter what.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Hey,
true.
hey, Fuller, I seen this dude at the weigh-in over here at the Armory in Minnesota when he fought against that dude from Ohio and he ruled it a draw. I couldn't believe this dude was 6'5". He's my height, 154 pounds. I'm like,
Yeah,
how
I
the
don't know
hell?
how he makes it, bro.
I was like,
I
how
do
the
not
hell is
know how that
how,
nigga makes it.
I was like, how is this fucking possible, bro? I thought when I was looking at him, I at least thought he was like at least 175. When they said 154, I said, hell no.
Yeah, I don't know how that nigga makes that weight, bro. I have no idea. I have no idea how he makes the weight. Yeah.
And he fights like a short Mexican fighter. That's the part that trips me out. This guy loves to be on the inside, giving up his height.
He do. He does not fight behind the jab that much. He do. He do. But yeah, those are my two favorite excited fighters. It's like I like Boots and I like Lubin right now at this present time.
Hey, you know I can't get up off of here without you giving us an update. As far as like your thoughts and opinions on anything that's going on in the Black conscious community, you got to fill us in, Fuller.
Man, I be doing me. I be like in my own bag. But as far as the Black conscious community is concerned, all of them niggas are frauds. All of them niggas are doing it to get their ego struck. All of them niggas are doing it for pussy. All of them niggas are doing it for revenue. There's not one sincere nigga in that community at all. And when people come to me and they ask me like, yo, like, why do you keep on getting at him? Or yo, what makes for one, I never claimed to be woke. I always just claimed to be a simple nigga who just does what he was always constructed to do, and that was read. That's what I do. I read. And I'm not saying that reading is superior to things that they do, but it's more practical because usually what you read you can apply in your life. I can't apply, oh, this thing cleans out your DNA. This thing will allow you to get electrical shock volumes from the ground, in which will enable you to become closer with God, and this and that and the other. This
5G
is,
blocking,
listen,
radiation blocking hats.
yeah. This is not providing me with assets. This is not teaching me how I can buy a duplex so I can use it as a residual income property. This is not teaching me that kind of stuff. So to me, I'm going to tell you something, bro, and they're not going to be happy at what I'm about to say. The Black conscious community is no different from the streets, meaning that they will do you dirty in order to get up. And also, Black, quote unquote, Black conscious women are no different from regular women who like to ride cock carousels all day. Listen, most of the women in Black conscious communities have, let's just put it this way, everybody's had a term with them. There's nothing goddess about them. There's nothing queen-like about them. They've been ran through like newborns run through wipes. You know what I mean? So when I look at the conscious community, I see no difference than the street. They just use big words. That's the only difference. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Hey, no, you know, I've been following these dudes for so long, and I still, even though I don't support them, I still follow them and know what this type of stuff they be doing. So how you feel about this dude who did emerge on the scene lately, Mister Buster Bus, Kwame Brown?
Um, some of the things, I think they're actually on his head, because some of the things that he said is kind of like, some of the things he said kind of hit a nerve with some of them. And I think a lot of things that he said, though, unfortunately, is rooted in things that he had to deal with when he was coming up, and even things that he had to deal with in the NBA. You know what I mean? I think that's why like people are kind of like so pressed with him right now. You know, what do you think of him?
Well, he definitely came out striking, as he deservingly did, because these dudes, they be shooting at him first. He don't be bothering nobody. And as far as the way he exposed them, I agree with it. Now I do think he be getting pretty excessive as far as like the amount of time he spend on certain individuals and stuff. I think that's excessive. And now I guess I'll say I'm hesitant, because I've seen how these black individuals come around, and for a few months they the good guy, and then you start seeing their good intentions. So I'm trying to see less of him slandering people and more so of the productive results that he claims to be doing. You know, shoe drives and building what do you say, like housing for kids and these
Yeah,
trade
yeah,
schools and stuff. I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
see
yeah,
more of that, and less. I don't need to see 80 fucking streams about Mr. Hassan and
yeah,
Charlie
yeah,
and the
yeah,
rape.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, I feel you on that. And that's one of the reasons why I never got down with uh that one fraud nigga Shaka Bars, is because, for one, this nigga's a mulatto. That's the first thing. I'm like, nigga, why are you getting behind a mulatto? Like, no disrespect, but uh, no disrespect, but I only know one mulatto in history who really turned it up and really was for his people, and that nigga was in Grenada. His name was like Findon or something. Yeah, his name was Findon, and he led a slave revolt. He was a mulatto, but anyway, Shaka Bars is like, okay, like, you mean to tell me you're building all these schools and stuff like that, but you don't post the schools on your page. You don't even like show the schools that you're building in Africa or anything on your page. You didn't even like post anything when the volcano erupted in the Congo. Okay? And it's like, I look on this page and I see what he's doing, And all he wants to do is just have his cake and eat it too. He will pump up these black women, these African black women and stuff like that, just so he can get like browning points. And the problem is he has short man complex. Okay, that nigga's only 5'4" or something. That nigga's a dwarf. Okay. Um, and you and the thing is he doesn't have to cap about just talking about he just has a fruit-based diet. Like, nigga, stop capping. You eat meat, nigga. Like, come on now. I mean, if you can't see that, I can't help you. You know, the whole black conscious community is a is a is a scam. A lot of these people just get their rocks off by using these big words and sounding smart. That's why, like, you know, I never related to young Pharaoh or anything like that, or because you even have to look at the name Pharaoh. I mean, if you look in history, pharaohs were not necessarily the most upright, um, people, morally correct people. You know, they were most of the time in history, pharaohs were tyrants. Right? So why would you want to even be named that? You know, if you didn't have those traits. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel. And then we go back to the whole glove situation that young Pharaoh did and stuff like that. It's like, nigga, give it a rest. Okay. Talking about give that man his belt back. It's like, nigga, since when have you been interested in boxing? Since when
Right.
have you that's the thing, like that's the only thing. Like he mentions Wilder, but he's never mentioned these other fighters. Like I guarantee you, if you ask him, like, okay, well, what do you think of Shakur Stevenson? He'll be like, who's that? You know what I mean?
Nah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I call just culture hijacking. You don't know nothing about boxing, but you just come and hijack the culture to your benefit. Um, but from what I've been seeing lately, because like I said, I'm always following the Black conscious community. That's my little entertainment. Um, what I've been seeing though, so now in on YouTube, you got a new wave of Black finance channels and Black empowerment, Black entrepreneurship. You got a lot of these channels, and it's turning into the Black conscious community. Also, you got scammers
Oh
out here
yeah.
left and
Hey,
right.
as a matter of fact, bro, not to cut you off, there was actually a guy I was following, and I never did business with him. Thank God I never did business with him. But there was this one guy, um, I think him and his wife had like a tax business or something. And I think I don't know what the tax business was about, but um they were even found out to be fraudulent too, you know. So when it comes to the finance, me personally, I just do it the old fashioned way. There's different forms of income, and I'm not saying that I'm the smartest nigga. I'm not saying I'm still a nigga who's still trying to figure it out myself, but I just suggest to people to research and let and don't put money, your hard-earned money in other people's hands only for them to run away with it. Because you can make passive income through different things. You can make like I mean, you have to do your due diligence and do your research, but you can go the long route and go with the cryptocurrencies or go with I think the new thing is Ethereum and stuff like that. But I'm going to ask you this question. Have what have you heard any horror stories in regards to the new Black financial conscious community? Have you heard any horror stories?
Well, it's not new, but that whole carrot bar stuff that collapsed like last year.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that was being pushed like heavy by all these black conscious community people. Carrot bars, which was owned by some European guy, some Russian, I believe. But anyways, yeah, carrot bars that collapsed. And
And how
from what
did it
I'm hearing,
collapse? What led to it collapsing? What actually led to that happening, collapsing?
you know what? I woke up one day and I just seen people. They were saying like, carrot bars, like that's the end of it. And I've seen a few channels that were saying they didn't get their the money that they put into allegedly buy these uh, bars of gold. They didn't get their
Hmm.
money back. That money is gone.
Mm. Oh wow, that's heavy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy. You know what's crazy? Someone was trying to get me to join that thing too, and I said, you you know what's crazy though? And he got butt hurt. I said, and I wasn't even trying to be arrogant or anything, but I said, why would I go through someone else to get gold when I can just go to Africa to get the gold myself? You know
Hey,
what I mean?
facts, facts.
Like,
That's
like
that's a
why
that's
would
a
I
great
do that?
point. That's a great
Like,
point.
like uh, I'm not saying that I'm the most connected person, but my cousin has access to a gold mine in Mali. So like, it, why wouldn't I just do that? It may be harder, but I know that I'm gonna get the gold at least. You know what I mean? I'm not
Oh,
gonna.
but Fuller, you see, the problem is you not coming together as a community. You trying to do it on yourself. You're not trying to build with the brothers.
Okay, here's the thing about that. Here's the thing. It usually takes one to set the example, and then others follow behind. It's not like, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. Whoever thought about reselling shoes is a freaking genius. Okay. But people came behind that person and started doing it as well. Usually, when it comes to community, there's different ways of helping.
Hmm.
My position, this is my position. And when it comes to community, I believe that I'm better off in the background. I don't need to be in front. I don't need to be like in the spokesperson or anything like that. You ask me to write something, you ask me to like publish some like opinions or in something like based in evidence and in facts, then I'll do that. You ask me to like get some funds together to for you guys to do something that I know is legitimate and that I know is going for a good cause. Like say if there's something like, for example, going on in Haiti, like you want to like, for example, come together, like deliver these goods to Haiti, then yeah, I'm gonna put the money in for that to happen. You know what I mean? Or if you want to like if you're trying to contribute to like maybe some sports equipment in the inner city or something like that, making sure that these kids have those things, then yes, I will I'm with you on that stuff. But if you're just talking about coming together and not doing anything and just talking about these stupid big words, then leave me out of it, bro. I don't need to be in that. I'm cool. Yeah, leave me out. I'm cool. I don't need to come together. But if it means like me not having to talk much and me just putting in my little contribution and it actually helping, then I'm completely okay with that, bro. That's
Well,
the
what
way
you
I
saying?
look at it.
What you saying, Jay Brown? What you saying?
Well, it's just funny to me how someone came to Fuda. Someone came to me, and they're from the continent, and that's the crazy part. They were doing it, and it's like, dude, why don't you just go back home and and if you're so keen on getting gold, why don't you just go back home and get an excavator and you know put a little pocket in some of the people over there who know what they're doing already and provide. That's how you help the community. You help communities that need that help, like in that area who's already doing it. You just providing more work for them. So even in my wife's country, I've been approached with opportunities to mine for gold. It's just something I haven't pursued, but I'd rather go to the source than some European company who's promising me something that I can't put my hands on.
Exactly. Exactly, bro. It's that simple. It's that simple. I remember, I'm going to let you in on a little secret too. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Before this whole thing happened, like I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Before this whole thing happened in Haiti and stuff like that, I have my flight booked to go to Haiti. When I told people out of the conscious community, like and I don't get it twisted, I'm not in the conscious community. I'm not in that. But some of them, they are nosy and things like that. And again, I say I'm the type of nigga that I rather just do it instead of say that I'm gonna do it. I'd rather just do it. But when I told them I was going to Haiti, a lot of them were like against it. A lot of them said, like, why are you going there? And I said, why wouldn't I go there? It's the first Black republic in the Western Hemisphere. Why wouldn't I want to make the pilgrimage and do the history and find out more about what went down? Why wouldn't I want to learn how to fight with a machete, like with two machetes? Why wouldn't I want to do these things? Like, why wouldn't I want to do that? And they're like, you, of course you heard the words, well, you're not on their, you're not on our frequency. You're not on the right frequency. And I'm like, bro, sit down somewhere, my nigga. Sit down somewhere. I think the real consciousness comes from when you can think for yourself. That's what I think it comes from. When you can think and do for yourself. That's what I believe. And then once you think and do for yourself, you can do for other people as well. Or help other people. Not do for other people, but help other people.
Hey,
Yeah,
I got a
that's
question. I got a question. Not to cut you off, Ike. So what do you? Because the whole situation in Haiti is fascinating. Um, I was just trying
Um,
to try to
I'm gonna
understand,
tell you, bro.
like what's like. You care to
Unfortunately, bro,
elaborate
what's
on that?
happening? I hate to say this. I hate to say this, but what the United States of America is trying to do right now is they're trying to occupy Haiti and Cuba, and they're trying to do it in these little subtle ways. Because if you do the history of Haiti, the United States was there before. You know, I don't know what the factors were that caused them to be kicked out, but they were kicked out. So what Joe Biden is trying to do now is he's trying to go. They're trying to get back into Haiti in the most subtle way possible. Um, because here's the thing about Haiti. And I'm going to tell you the absolute truth about Haiti. Haiti is the richest country in the Caribbean. There's untapped resources of oil. There's untapped resources of mineral wealth there. It's just unfortunately, Haiti mostly is controlled by, like, if you want to be honest, non-black people. Like the richest families in Haiti are like of Arab descent. I think there's even one of Italian descent and things like that. So I think the assassination of the last president was definitely some home cooking over here because they're trying to do something over there. They're trying to occupy it again. That's the thing. There's something that they want from there, and we'll
Yeah,
find out what it is that they want soon enough, I think.
Yeah, I was kind of looking into it, and um, he was supposed to be he was supposed to be out of August. I mean, out of office by February.
Yeah.
That that's correct, right?
Um, I don't know the whole story of it, but what I do know is that no matter who the president is of that country, there's always going to be a lot of work to do there for the simple fact that I don't think Haiti even recovered from the reparations it gave France when it broke free from slavery because they gave like billions of dollars to France, and I don't know if they even recovered. You know, that's the thing. So no matter who was in office, it was going to take a very big effort to like get Haiti to like the level where it's the most powerful, most um like the Switzerland of the Caribbean, you can say, because as I said before, it's the richest Caribbean island. Problem is, it's just that the wealth is hasn't been cultivated, and I think that's why the United States wants to get there. You know, again, second time. The thing is, I'm going to say one more thing about Haiti. Haiti was never forgiven for being the first Black republic of the Western Hemisphere.
That's true.
It was never forgiven for that.
Facts. That's part
And
of the reason they had to pay reparations, which they should not have.
exactly. And here's another thing about that. You even look at the propaganda that they have on Haiti. When you look at, I remember I saw this one excerpt a long time ago. It was like a long time ago. It was this one, it was on YouTube. I watched it on YouTube. It was this one televangelist, this fraud ass named Pat Robinson. And this nigga had the nerve to say that,
Oh, I know you're talking about the 700 Club or something like that.
yeah. And that nigga had the nerve to say Haiti made a deal with the devil to stop the French from occupying it. And so
Oh
when
my
they made a
goodness.
deal with the devil, they they never recovered ever since. I'm like, this out of all the nerve of people, I wish I could have. If I knew he was gonna do it on that day, I would have called in and said, "Nigga, you are the devil."
Oh man,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
uh, yeah. So now back to the carrot bars and back to the financial thing. Now, Hyphy, there was this other guy too that I was surprised, and they said that he was actually a financial scammer too, but I didn't look into it. Perhaps maybe you know more about it. But they said that this one guy named Derek Grace or something, that he was also a scammer. Do you know about that?
Derek, nah, you know that name don't ring a bell. Derek Grace.
Yeah, they said he was a scammer too.
What is he what is what is his area of expertise?
I think his area of expertise is financial empowerment, LLCs, and stuff like that. Yes, I think that's the area of expertise for him.
Does he delve into real estate, stock market? Like what's his trademark?
I think his thing is just creating LLCs. Um, I'm not quite sure. I haven't really researched a lot about him, but some people were telling me that yeah, he's a scammer too.
Okay,
Well,
yeah, I would have to deal with at least looking into it more. But yeah, so I don't want to speak on him yet. But I mean, I've heard of
Yeah,
other people,
this
but
this this one guy just said Haiti did a deal with the devil, copying Republic that is a democracy-centric compromise of faceless bureaucrats faces without even infrastructure set on the country. So yeah, Haiti played itself. Um, while you're entitled to your opinion, I think there was a lot more outside factors that went into why we see Haiti the way it is right now. I don't necessarily think it played itself. I think it necessarily didn't have time to rebuild itself. That's what I believe. But you are entitled to your opinion. Thank you for your opinion.
I mean, Haiti, like let's just be honest. Ever since Haiti gained its independence, they've been blackballed. Like, let's be honest, not just by France and United States. Like, just be honest.
a- across the globe, all these European heavyweights have have in some way, form, or fashion tried to put the
And
clamps on them.
you have to understand too about Haiti too is that sorry to say it, but in Haiti there is like the class system, and from my readings, no disrespect to mulattoes, but mulattoes did feel a bit privileged and a bit entitled to the lion's share of that country, and it still persists to this day. So like basically like the mixed Haitians and also the non-black Haitians still feel this way, while the majority black Haitians are the ones who don't have a pot to piss in, unfortunately. But I mean, yeah, entitled to have that comment. But what other horror stories have you heard about the financial conscious community?
All right, so it's funny. I know you've heard of Jay Morrison, the real estate scammer.
Yeah, yeah.
He not too recently, but he did make a guest appearance on within that black boxing community that's out there. So that probably don't surprise you that they teamed up. Um, so
Uh,
that's one thing. There's
Okay,
a
one more thing. Okay, not to cut you off. If Haiti copied the Hawaii Puerto Rico route, Haiti would be a safe haven in the Caribbean. What happened is the mafia overlord ruled the country just because it wanted independence. Okay, well, number one, Puerto Rico is
Puerto
ass
Rico is
backwards right now. Hold on.
exactly.
No, number one, Puerto Rico is ass backwards right now. Number two, Hawaiians are not even Hawaiians anymore. Most of the Hawaiians there are occupied by Americans. Number three, if Haiti went the Puerto Rico route, then chances are the women would be sterilized. Chances are people will be born with birth defects because of the simple fact that the United States actually tested nuclear weapons in Puerto Rico. So, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion kind of like leaves some things in question because while Puerto Rico may look nice and stuff like that, it is nothing more than a banana republic where the people in Puerto Rico can't even vote for the president, although they're considered on paper Americans. They can't even vote in this country. So how is it going to be? It would be a safe haven for rich people. You're right. It would probably be a safe haven for people who don't look like us. Put it that way. Just like Hawaii and Puerto Rico is. You're absolutely right about that. Again,
Yeah,
thank you for your opinion. But go
hey,
ahead.
And even take it a step further, Fuda, just look at if there's such a safe haven, why the hell, when that, all those tragedies hit Puerto Rico and the power was out, and they went through all that trauma, all those people didn't have water. How come people weren't able to get, the proper aid dispatched to them?
No, let's take it a step further. How come people were actually selling the water for like triple in Puerto Rico when they were actually holding the water back and selling it?
I wasn't even going to go there, but I was just going to go on that premise.
Oh my God. This guy said Haiti would be a resort country if they let Americans took the rain just like Hawaii. Okay, what is Hawaii right now? Not even Hawaiians can afford to live in Hawaii. What are you talking about?
Right.
Hawaii is ass backwards right now. In fact, Hawaii is full of meth heads. Thank you, due to American occupation. What are you talking about? Listen, bro, America doesn't bring shit good to other places. Okay? You look at Puerto Rico, there's nothing really good going on there with America. You look at Hawaii, there's nothing really good going on there. You look at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba, what's happening there? I don't know what you're talking about. Do the history of this country instead of just talking out your ass.
I can even go to my wife's country. Shit, everything America touched turns them into ruins.
What country is this?
Liberia.
Oh shit! Don't even get started.
That's what I'm saying. So,
Hey, he got to start watching them like YouTube documentaries. Uh, he got to stop watching that stuff. I'm sorry. His information is, to me, is just screwed. I mean, he probably
Oh,
thinks.
no, hold on. Let's talk about what America did do in Haiti. Let's talk about how the Red Cross went there and how they donated a lot of money. These NGOs were donated a lot of money to actually contribute to Haiti, but the Haitians never saw that money.
They never saw that money.
Let's talk
like
about
10 years
how
ago.
let's talk about how some of these Red Cross workers were sex trafficking little kids in Haiti. Let's talk about that. And there were Americans. Let's talk about that. Talk about that.
No, not Clinton. Don't just blame it on Clinton.
Yeah, don't just blame Clinton. It's been an ongoing thing. It was an ongoing thing. It wasn't just one president.
Matter of fact, yeah, Clinton wasn't even in office. Like the last time they had that was like what 2010, 2011. The man wasn't even in office.
Exactly. And no president, every president just repeats what the previous one does anyway. It doesn't matter. They just do what the other president does. No president brings good to a foreign country. Shoot, Biden's bombing Somalia right now. What are you talking about? No president brings anything good to a foreign country. No American president. Name me one time an American president brought something good to a foreign country. Don't say Iraq or Afghanistan either. Don't say that.
Yeah,
Don't say America brought democracy to Libya either. Don't say that.
Just go look at like your history, man. Every time America get involved in some type of foreign issues or even just dealing with any type of foreign country, I mean, does it really work out well for the citizens of that country?
How much are dollars worth around the world, bro? How much are dollars worth around the world? Dollars don't mean shit. American dollars don't mean shit around the world, mostly.
They don't mean shit in Ghana. They don't mean shit in Nigeria. Like it just depends on whether the country is willing to use your currency, and if they're not, then that American dollar don't have no value.
It's
It's
really
really
only some Caribbean countries, and that's it.
it's really up to that country to determine how valuable they are to themselves, and you do that by not really putting value on other people's money.
So this dude wants Haiti as a 52nd or 53rd state of the United States. You got to be kidding me. Can't make this shit up. What makes you think that Haiti would be good under that when United States doesn't even know how to treat black people there? Here, you think they're going to treat black people better over there? Give me a break, bro. People are crazy, man. Living in delusional places.
Yeah, that's that nationalism talk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, bro, you're living in a freaking delusion. You don't even have things right here with black people. What makes you think them going somewhere else with more black people that it's going to be better? Get the hell out of here. Did they not have to whoop the French's ass? Did they not have to whoop the Spanish's ass? Did they not have to whoop the British's ass? What are you talking about?
Yep. Because yeah, who all was fighting? It was the Brits, the French, and it was
The
one. Was it?
Spanish.
The
Spanish.
Spaniards. Yeah.
Haiti has more something more. Haiti has more some Haiti has something more valuable and more of it than the United States has, and that's gold. So why would they care about some damn dollars?
Fact. People don't understand the value of natural resources and actual minerals. Like that piece of paper is worthless. It's
That's what I'm
worthless.
saying. That's
It
another
has
thing
no
about American
it
dollars I
has
don't get.
it
Look,
has no
look,
value.
look. Answer this question. Maybe you guys can answer this question for me. How can a country be in debt, be in trillions of dollars of debt, but yet it still manages to print money out of its ass? Can you answer that question for me?
It's called centralized banking. They have a blank check to write as many fucking to print as much money as they need.
Yeah, it's
As long
basically promissory notes.
Oh, okay.
yeah, as long as they continue to play that game, they'll have infinite amounts of money they can print.
No, I didn't
So
know that.
yeah, so the last time the United States was actually debt free, fully debt free, was when Andrew Jackson was president, and he was trying his best to get from out underneath um, central banking system in America. Lincoln was coming close to completely getting out from under it with those greenbacks he was issuing during the Civil War. Those greenbacks were allowing the United States to be able to fully be able to fund itself without, you know, being under the umbrella of having, central banking system to be able to fork money into it. So that's part of the reason why he was killed. He was killed for that and some other reasons, but mostly because of that, because
Oh, okay.
they didn't like those greenbacks in circulation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They didn't like that.
and your reserves, your monetary reserves. I mean, like the percentage that you're supposed to, the maximum percentage that you could lend on. I mean, that amount has increased so much, like over the decades, which
Mm-hmm.
obviously leads to so much more debt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
This whole system is built on debt. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I
people,
thought.
the financing, if you had, they start from when the time you go to college, when they
Mm-hmm.
start to issue those student loans.
Yeah.
You think they're ever going to get rid of student loans?
Nah.
Hell
The
no, because
crazy
that's
thing about this is the crazy thing about student loans too is I don't know how it's really possible to pay them off where when all you're paying on the student loan is the interest. You're not even paying the principal.
They know
You're
that.
paying mostly the interest.
They
This,
purposely don't tell you.
they, the system knows you can't pay it off. It's all about entrapping the next generation of people to be able to continue to tap into the system and make the system run the way it continues to run, which is
Okay,
every.
you keep okay. These low level IQ keep blaming America, not the New World Order. Okay, let's look at America's track record. Okay, let's look at America's track record for 10 years. What's the first thing they did? They went to war with Afghanistan with for no reason at all. What did that cause that country to become? A failed state. They went to Iraq to get oil, obviously. What did that become? A failed state. They decided to bomb Libya. What did that become? A failed state.
Slash slave camp.
They bombed Yemen. They bombed Syria. What did that become? A failed state.
Look what they did to Venezuela in was it 2017,
Yeah.
2018.
What's going on in California right now? A drought. What's going on in California right now? And all over the United States. People are vaccinated, but are still getting the virus. There's spikes in the virus despite the vaccination. So you keep on saying blaming America. Okay, who else are we gonna blame then? If what they're saying that's supposed to help us is not helping us. So in essence, like someone's supposed to take a vaccine but still test positive for a virus.
Well, there's the point. There's the problem right there, Fuller. They're treating the vaccine like it's a cure, and it's not. It just lowers the percentage of you catching it, but you still can catch it.
Nah, there is actually a drought in California. There is actually a drought. There's a drought in California, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I just think he just everything you say, he just trying to be on the opposite end of it. Because I mean, I've been to Northern California, and I could tell you like firsthand.
And also you're talking about New World Order. Where is the New World Order coming from? Two places, America and Israel, bro. Let's just be honest. If you want to go there, let's just be politically correct and understand where it's coming from. America and Israel. Okay? Two of the same things.
Speaking of Israel, did the new prime minister take over yet?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I think the Netanyahu dude is still trying to have power. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, actually the crazy thing about Netanyahu, he got into like legal trouble, but they never prosecuted him because of the simple fact that that's how they are. You know, that's how they are. Well, speaking of the
Right.
virus, though, some restaurants are closing up because they got spikes in it. At least down here.
Well, the protection has been taken. You know, the so-called politicians have pretty much lifted all of the mandates that were once in place in regards to going to public places. So, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Me personally, though, I never really trusted the whole thing to begin with. Like, I never really trusted things were going back to normal, that they were trying to have concerts together and stuff like that. I never really kind of like trusted it from the get-go. So I still ran my program like, before, like during the time where there was lockdown and stuff like that. Even to this day, I run a lockdown program. I don't really go out with a lot of people and stuff like that and everything, you know.
Hey, I was doing everything possible to stay away from motherfuckers, but that's just my introvert personality.
Yeah,
My circle's always been small. It's just
yeah,
been family, home, and that's it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I feel you.
and I still
Definitely feel you.
and I still end up catching the shit. So,
Yeah,
so at that point, when you lower your risk to that and you still get it, it's like,
I'll give you an alley oop. Um, a good way to prevent it is drinking rose water, putting some rose water in something. I believe the rose water, if you put the rose water in something, it kills like a lot of strands of it, you know.
yeah,
So
my
even
son.
if you have like the symptoms or whatever, you put the rose water in some tea or something, and then you can drink it.
Yeah,
Yeah, just get
I was
yeah, get some rose water.
I was I was I was taking CMOS daily,
Yeah,
exercising,
yeah,
doing everything possible. And
yeah,
if it's gonna catch you, it's gonna catch you, man. Like, you
yeah.
just gotta make sure that you're in good physical condition to with,
Exactly.
to withstand it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, the now about a new world order, whatever the case may be, new world order, new whatever. At the end of the day, the bottom line is the people we have to blame are the people in the West. The leadership in the West is who we have to blame to what's going on right now in the world. That's all I'm gonna say about that. You know, and it's also the people who believe what the West is actually saying about everything, about Cuba, about all those places. So
Hey,
that's
hey, Fula.
what up.
Hey, if you go live maybe like next week or something, let me know and I'll hop back on again. We can,
Yeah,
cover like even stuff outside of boxing. I
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
catch
We
up
can
on
do
you
that.
on yeah, I gotta catch up on you on some of the battle rap stuff too. I even talked to you
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Um,
Let's do that. What for you guys? What day and what time is good to go live, and then I can start doing it regularly.
we could well we could yeah like maybe like a late night one like every once in a while. Cause let me see like we on the West Coast, so
Yeah,
you want to say like after like what 10 p.m. like anytime after that that's good, yeah.
yeah. So what day? What day so I can
Uh,
make sure to make time for it?
let me see what is today? Friday. So you want to do one? You what you want to try to do one sometime like during the week next week?
Yeah, yeah. I want to do it again. I want to get
Yeah,
consistent.
yeah. J Brown, what you think? Like Wednesday? What Wednesdays look like for you, J Brown? All right, he probably stepped away for us. So yeah, we'll
Yeah,
wait till till he come back. Um, but yeah, probably like a once a week thing. Like I said, we could touch on some boxing and it always be other stuff going on also. Any
yeah,
type of current events, anything related
yeah,
to diaspora. So yeah,
yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff is good.
Yeah, nah, I'm down. I'm down to do it more consistently. I just like tonight. I just decided, man, there's so much talk about in boxing that I had to like get on because at first I was gonna do a video on like first I was gonna do a video on Jamal Charlo saying that he ain't gonna fight Andre, and then the other news came out that uh and then whatchamacallit came out and said that Ryan Garcia and him were gonna have a fight. That's when I had to say, okay, you know what, I gotta go live. There's too many craps to cover, so let me just do that. So, but we can make it a once in a week thing. You know, I can go live at least once a week. That's not a problem. You know?
Yeah. We have to like figure it out. Because
Yeah,
like I said, usually like after 10 p.m. I'm pretty much like done. I'm home and
yeah,
stuff. But
yeah,
it's good like just to have some other people that's because actually it's I've been finding other channels and they kind of on board like on the same stuff we seen as far as boxing. They
yeah,
just tired of like the race baiting and the
yeah,
excuses,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
pro
and
PVC talk.
yeah, yeah, and and that's another thing, by because and that's one thing I found with like I'm just gonna say their name. I'm just gonna say their name, bro. That's what I found about with the LDBC is that it's just that they're so emotionally driven that logic just goes out the door. You know what I mean? And so that's why I had to like leave that crap alone. You know what I mean? I'm a logical person. You know, I
Hey,
choose.
no, I'm sorry. Did you see somebody was backstage trying to come in? Did you see that?
I did see that. I don't know who
Leaving
that
some.
was though.
I've seen that person around the boxing community before.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
what's his angle? What's his angle?
I'm not even sure. I've just seen that name, but I made sure to take a screenshot of that because
Yeah.
just in case I see him around on some other stuff,
Yeah,
I
and
want to
then
make
that
sure.
way you can see his angle and stuff like that.
Yeah, and let other people know because this man coming back here, saying this type of stuff. I
Yeah.
got that shit recorded.
Yeah, exactly. Because I did see that, but I didn't let him on. Like I didn't let him on, because I'm like I don't know. I didn't recognize him. I don't know who that is. You know.
Yeah, but yeah, you were saying just like the whole, all this black stuff. They like to
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. At the end of the day, bro, I'm for my people. I want to see my people do good. But at the same time, bro, I'm not gonna cap for anybody who shows me like bad character traits. Like it doesn't matter what color you are. Like that's why I don't rock with the Charlotte sisters. The Charlotte sisters are fake gangsters. You know what I mean? Like they couldn't come to 60th Street. We would fuck them up. You know what I mean? Um, and take their jewelry. You know what I mean? It's when you show certain things, then I'm not gonna rock with you regardless of what color you are. You know what I mean? So um outside of the Charlo example, let's take the Wilder example. Let's take the even Tank Davis. I rock with Tank Davis boxing style, but outside of the ring, he does stupid crap. He does clown shit.
Agreed.
I'm not gonna cap for him. He may be the same skin as me, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna just cap for him regardless of the stupid stuff he does. No, it doesn't work like that with me. You know? That's
After
just
every Take Davis fight, he gets arrested.
exactly. And you wonder why, like, this nigga just doesn't stay in the gym. And you know what's messed up about the whole Tank Davis thing? Is Ellie Setback has the sparring footage with him and Devin Haney's Tank Davis. Devin Haney said, listen, I'll give you 100 bands for that sparring footage. But Ellie Setback is such a Tank Davis fan that he's not going to give it to him. So I think he really was getting hands put on him in that sparring footage. Otherwise, if he wasn't, he would have released it.
Yeah, I've always heard Haney said, "Look, the reason I want to fight him. Yeah, y'all can say whatever y'all want. We know what happened in sparring, and I don't got to talk about it. Just put the footage out in USC."
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly right. Now go ahead. You were talking about something else about like the now I'm gonna ask you this. Do you still go around like the LDBC videos and their content and their creators and
I
stuff?
mean, for me, it's one show that I like. The Three Wise Men. That's
Okay.
okay. Yeah, you know what they talk about, like the old school stuff. I mean, I like to hear that talk, but
Hmm.
like me, I go around blood boxing. He actually
Hmm.
parted ways. They had a little thing, but like for me, I
Who,
don't
Blue
look
Blood?
at no blood red
Okay.
show.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like anybody like on this boxing stuff, I don't just like group them as far as whoever they hang out with or not.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
more so about the content. I mean, yeah, look, I
Hmm.
like to hear some boxing talk, but I do like to, hear some funny entertainment at times
Hmm.
as well. And yeah, it's a few channels you gonna find them pretty funny. I
Yeah.
gotta send you some stuff one day. But nah,
Yeah.
like for me, my fallout, I just had to. I couldn't do the wilder excuses. Once
Hmm.
those came and I wasn't with them, I knew like okay, I knew they was gonna push a certain agenda and I wasn't with it.
Right.
So like instead
Right.
of me being one of these people that's out here making videos and all that, nah, I just take a step back.
And that's what I did, bro. Bro, I could have made a video about certain things that were said and stuff like that, but I said, you know what? I'm just gonna fall back and do me. That's why I said, it's better for me to fall back and do me. You know, uh, you know, this is the thing for me. Okay, this happened with me personally. I'm not gonna name any names, but this is what like kind of like got me the wrong way. There were a couple of things that got me the wrong way, but the main thing that got me the wrong way, this is what like really like struck the chord with me. It's when like it turns out like okay, one of the people over there is a registered sex offender, and then you're capping for a sex offender. And so I look at it like, okay, if I'm associated with this group, that means I'm gonna be like, that means I'm kind of capping for him too. So I'm like, nah, miss me with that. Hey, I'm falling back. No shouts out to the LDBC, no hashtag LDBC under my thing, nothing like that. You know, because when I found that information out and then the receipts came out, I'm like, hell no, I can't be associated with that.
All right,
That
so
was that was the big fallout for me. But I never made it vocal. That's the thing. I never like listen. I never went on like I never made a video about it. I never made a video calling out people's names and stuff like that. I never did that. I just fell back and did me. You know what I mean?
so you had like a certain group of people will say that you was they said pretty much anytime they go live it was open invitation, hop on the
Yeah,
link and all
yeah.
that. So is that what you would say basically caused your separation from even those people who you would have swore was riding hard for you?
Not only that, but just what they did too. Like we know that they don't like Andre. We understand that. I understand they don't like him. I understand that, he they just don't like him based on their demographic, right? I understand that. But don't get someone that was once on his payroll to not once, not throw smut on his name one time, but throw smut on his name twice because you don't like him. You know, Don't do that. That's like dishonorable to do something like that. Whereas you're not even hearing the other, you're not even hearing um the other side of the story. Whereas, like, I know the other side of the story, because I'm in contact with people who knew the other side of the story. Like, that's like kind of low blow to do something like that. You know what I mean? So that's like when I was like, okay, they're moving like that. Let me be quiet. Let me just do me. When I be quiet, when I did me, when I stopped hopping on the panels, that's when the whole explosion happened. And that's when it was just like, okay, let me fall back furthermore. You know what I mean? Let me not make, let me not waste time and energy to make videos on certain people. Rather, let me spend time and make videos just on the boxing, and just my opinion of the boxing. That's initially how the whole thing happened. You know what I mean?
Did your name ever get thrown under the bus in the process?
Of course, they always threw me under the bus. They threw me under the bus because I called one of them for a lie. You know, one of them said Jamel Charlo was because I think Jamel Charlo spent time in Hollywood or something.
Yeah, he stayed out here.
Yeah, he spent time in Hollywood. One of them caps said he visited a marathon store and had pictures with the late great Ermias, Nipsey Hussle. I asked many of the homies, like, yo, did that nigga ever come to the store? They said, nah, we don't even know what Cuz looked like. And if he did come to the store, we would have probably like jacked that nigga. So that's another thing that did it. It's like, okay, you're trying to cap for a fake guy. You know what I mean? And so that's why I didn't appreciate either. You try to
Well,
build like a street cred for a dude who is obviously a fake gangster. You know what I mean?
I mean, respectfully, just because you could go into a marathon store, which is open to public business, that make you
Yeah.
street. Just because you could go there and buy a shirt, that make you
Yeah,
street.
exactly.
Hey,
That's what
hey,
I'm saying.
hyphy,
Not
hey,
only that,
hyphy.
not only that, it's like don't try to like associate someone, don't try to associate an authentic guy with a fake guy. You know what I mean? Like that's another thing that did it as well, you know.
And
Nah,
secondly, to the easy way that y'all could have just deaded this whole, it did happen, it didn't happen, it was pictures. I produced the proof of the pics.
Yeah, bring the pictures, like put the pictures online or something. Yeah, put the pictures online, you know. And so that's what initially did it as well. You know what I mean?
I guess I'm gangster too because I went to the marathon store online.
Oh, and yeah, you definitely gangster copping the t-shirts,
Yeah,
dropping your
man,
address,
absolutely.
so they
I
can
dropped,
pull up.
bruh, I dropped my location right on, what I'm saying, right on the website. You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. And so that's why I had to like step away because I saw that I also saw something that I didn't like too. Yeah, I didn't want to speak on it, but I'm gonna speak on it a little bit briefly. One of the members of the LDBC said something. I'm like, okay, well, at first I want to give him benefit of doubt. I'm like, okay, well, he said that, but maybe he didn't understand what he was saying. But he kind of like lightweight threw Haitians under the bus. And I'm like, okay, well, last time I checked, the majority of Haitians are black too. You know what I mean? And so when he did that, I'm like, okay, me being a black immigrant myself, it's only a matter of time before I get thrown under the bus as well. You know what I mean? So then that's when I stepped away too. Now I heard other bigger channels have stepped away as well from that group. I don't know. I'm not quite sure of the particulars of it, but I've heard through the grapevine. I haven't really been paying attention, but I've heard that other bigger channels have been stepping away from the group as well.
Well, see that black immigrant stuff. That sound like that pro Tariq Nasheed FBA talk. And see
Yeah.
that's my problem. It's not really pro black. If you don't like Andrade, if you don't like Terrence Crawford, if you don't like Anthony Joshua, who Wilder says, oh, he has some Nigerian in him. Well, Anthony Joshua is full blooded Nigerian. So is it really pro black or is it pro PBC?
And that's my whole thing. Like, we just want to see the fights happen. You know what I mean? That's just the bottom line. And so, for example, when they said certain things, like when I was like, okay, you're calling Devin Haney a house Negro for kind of like trying to set something up for himself. Like, although he's like messing with Eddie Hearn, like that makes him a house Negro all of a sudden. Like, really, really? But he has his own promotional company. Could it be like just like a partnership with Eddie Hearn that he's getting on, and that really he's pushing buttons himself? That maybe Eddie Hearn is the Eddie Hearn is like the guy who says, okay, I can promote the fight, but the rest is left up to you. The venue, the back end money. Like, could he be that guy? But no, he's a house nigga now because he didn't sign with PBC.
Hey, and he's a free agent at this moment. He can
and that means he can fight anybody he wants.
He can go anywhere. He ain't bound to no network at this moment. So Devin Haney is open for business.
Yep.
Hey, this is what I say, Fuller, because Al Heyman, like the mystique around him is you've never seen him do an interview. You really never seen his face or anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you don't know his thoughts and stuff. So my thing, and this, just think about it, because it could be true. What if Al Heyman was the biggest coon out there?
Not only that, I'm not going to even just say that. What if Al Heyman is lightweight, like kind of stopping these fights from happening too, and in these fighters' ears and telling them, nah, you shouldn't do that? What if that's the case?
I mean, to a degree, they all playing the same game. All these promotional companies. It's just they all want to put blame on one particular promotional company when they all want the same fucking thing. They all playing the game as far as the long game, how they want the long game to be with these fighters. They all want the same kind of contractual agreements with these fighters that are not on their own promotional companies. They want these guys to fight a 2-fight or 3-fight deal. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're not fighting with them, they want to make money off of them in that way. So they all are operating under the same mindset. It's just they're using different tactics to try to accomplish. That's the only difference.
And then here's the thing about the whole PBC. Who's to say that if one of the fighters we like that may be on the other side of the fence, who's to say that they will get the fight that we want them to see? We want to see them in right away. Who's to say that they may not have to go through that they may have to go through 2 or 3 fights before they get the big one? And who's to say that they're gonna win all those fights? That's
That's
my
that.
whole thing.
That's where I was leading to. I wasn't leading to that they won't get the big fight. I was leading to when it comes to the 2, 3 fight deals, they all want that for fighters that they covet that's not on their promotional company. They all want, even if they are not on their promotional company, and a lot of times these fights ain't getting made because they want to make money, even if they lose to that particular fighter from the other promotional company, they still want this guy to fight and have some type of promotional connection to him for the next fight or two, just so they can make money, more money off of that fighter. So they're not actually taking a loss in the situation from a financial standpoint. If that belt happens to go away, well, at least we made some more money off of that fighter, even though he's not on our promotional banner. We still make money off of him because he falls under a la Tyson Fury, PBC, a la top rank Deontay Wilder. They're still making money off of Wilder, even though Wilder ain't signed to him, and vice versa with PBC making money off of Fury, even though Fury ain't signed to them. So they all want the same shit.
Well, here's another thing too, and maybe y'all can answer this question for me, because I admit that I was infatuated with the whole PBC thing. I admit that I was on that wave before. I admit that. But now that I kind of like clear cleared the smog from my head, my question is this. These fighters on the PBC, okay, they have, for example, Earl Spence has Man Down Promotions. Deontay Wilder has Bomb Squad Promotions. For example, Charlos have Lions Only Promotions. If these are your promotional companies and you're saying that you're your own promoter, then shouldn't you be promoting yourself by getting in the best fights possible to raise your name, to raise your market value, to raise your fan base if you're your own promoter? If Al Heyman has nothing to do with it and making a fight happen, it should be like, yo, Al, I want this venue, but I want to fight this guy. It should be as simple as that.
But
That's it.
you do know all these promotional companies are all fronts. These guys don't have the wherewithal and the knowledge to be able to promote themselves in a way that the way they're getting advised through Al Heyman. Because if Al Heyman is not a promoter, but he is a promoter. He's the promoter without the promoter's life. Okay, he's the advisor.
Yeah,
That's the loophole which he falls under. So
yeah,
he's the conductor. He's the one. He's the architect. He's architecting all these different promotional companies that these fighters are under. They're
yeah,
creating a promotional company, but he's the one helping mastermind and architect and articulate what the game plan should be for each one of these
yeah,
fighters. That's why they say call Al, because Al's
yeah,
the
yeah,
one
yeah, yeah, definitely.
with
We
the
hear
game
that a
plan.
lot.
He's
We
the
hear
one with the
that a
game
lot.
plan.
Call Al, call Al, call Al.
And
Yeah,
that's what make me always say, just being honest. Um, to me, the only fighters that could really, really call the shots as far as who they want to fight is really only two of them. It's Canelo and Pacquiao. Those are only fighters in boxing that could really call the shots.
you're right. You're right. Nah, you're right. Spot on. Those are the guys who can just say, okay, I want to fight this guy. Those are
And,
the guys who can actually get out of contracts if they're faced with like some opposition that maybe they don't want to go against. You're right. Those are really the only ones who can call the shots when it comes to who they want to fight. I agree with you on that for sure.
but the
I,
thing is the way boxing is set up. They want to villainize. one promotional company as if to say that promotional company is the only company that is practicing the practices that everybody's doing. That's the part that I can't stand.
Salute and good morning. Yes, sir. Another thing about these, the whole PBC model of things. This is the thing about the whole PBC model. We already know PBC and Showtime and Fox are basically one entity. We know that. We understand that. Okay. I get it. But if you wanted a bigger fan base, and this is for both promotional companies, this is for every promotional company, wouldn't it be wise that, yes, the fighter has their home base, right? They have their home base. We get it. Whether they be ESPN Top Rank, whether they be PBC, whether they be the zone. But wouldn't it be like conducive to all the networks if they had something in the fighter's contract where it says if the big fight is available at another network, then yes, you can go there for that fight. And there's big money involved. It has to make sense. Then wouldn't that be the right thing to do? And then I
I,
want to ask you guys too, this is just random left field that I just thought of. I mean, what chances do you give Caleb Plant to beat Canelo? I give him like little to no chance personally.
is it something about his style, or just you don't think he's up
Okay,
for it?
here's the thing. I'm going to just say this. Caleb Plant is a good boxer. Caleb Plant is like mover, angles, a boxer, right? But again, to fight Canelo, you have to be more than a boxer to actually have a chance. I still watch the I still watch the Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo fight. And the thing that Floyd Mayweather did that people don't realize is Floyd Mayweather didn't really use the ring a lot. Floyd Mayweather stood in the pocket with him and was still touching him. There was a point in time where he was using a touch jab, touch jab, then would hit him with an uppercut, and every time Canelo would throw, he would just take a step back. I don't think Caleb Plant has anything in his arsenal that would make Canelo take a step back. That's my whole thing. That's what I believe personally.
You don't think he could hurt Canelo?
I don't. I don't. That's just me personally. I don't think so. That's just my personal opinion, you know. I mean, what do you think? What do you guys both think about that?
I'll let Heike go.
See, I look at it. One, just the experience factor is gonna come into play. Like for me personally, I don't trust a dude like Caleb Plant to like going there with 100% confidence. I think he'd be kind of second guessing himself. Being thrown off by Canelo upper body movements and stuff. And I think that'd be the reason that he'll lose because I really don't give him a chance either. He did show me some really good pivots when he fought Quasigui. But it's like ever since that, I haven't been impressed since that fight with him. Basically, like he don't got no like respectable power to, you know what I mean, keep you off. It's like that's, and then on top of that, he be getting fatigued also. You know what I mean?
Hey, and that's what I'm gonna say. Like in that Uskachegi fight, after the fight, you're gonna get hit in boxing. That's just a part of boxing. You know, you're gonna get hit. But when I compared Uskachegi's face with Caleb Plant's face, it looked like Uskachegi won the fight and Caleb Plant lost the fight. That nigga's face was pieced up because, as you said, he gassed out in one round and Uskachegi hurt him and was on the attack. You know, but he was smart that he just picked up the earlier rounds. Like I think, like I guess you can say through round 1 through 5, he put those rounds in the bag. You know.
It wasn't just him winning rounds. He actually knocked. He hurt. He hurt him and knocked and dropped him a couple of times in that fight.
Yeah, he did. He did drop him, and there were 2 points in the fight where he dropped him. Yeah, but I mean, what do you think about him? What do you think his chances are with Canelo?
I think his footwork is one of his best attributes. That's to why he can win.
I give him that.
Why he can win a fight against Canelo. He don't necessarily. Canelo's gonna have to be very good at cutting off the ring, and I think Caleb is gonna be one of them guys who, at certain points, like when he stood his ground against, he's gonna stand his ground against Canelo in certain spots of his fight, and he's gonna get up out of there. And the thing about him, he does throw combinations to the body and the head. He ain't just a head hunter. So Canelo's gonna get some pushback to his body and see how his reserve tank gonna be when another
Mhm.
dude's throwing shots to his body and combinations at him. Because
Yeah,
Caleb Plant is a combination puncher. He ain't a single shot thrower. So
yeah,
Canelo, so Canelo gonna have more to that he's gonna have to think about when he's fighting the Caleb Plant. Because
yeah,
Caleb Plant ain't gonna be throwing single shots at him, especially
yeah,
when they're in the pocket. So that's why I give him more of a puncher's chance to win this fight because of certain things that he does
yeah, yeah,
naturally. It's not
yeah,
something that I'm projecting on him to do. It's
yeah,
something that
yeah, yeah, yeah,
he's already got the skill set to do. So
yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you. But back to our point with the whole PBC and all these things and stuff like that. Do you guys feel that the PBC makes the best fights, like or shows the best fights? Do you guys feel the PBC does that? Do you think the
um,
PBC actually like caters to the boxing fan, or what do you guys feel? How do you guys feel?
let me ask you, just this last year alone, who's put on the best fight so far?
Um, well, I mean, when you think about it, it's been like I guess different. The I guess you can say the tide turns, like changes in certain with certain times. You know what I mean? I will say that the PBC has the biggest roster of fighters, but what I will say is that some of the more skillful fighters are on different outlets, you know. Some, not all, but some.
I would say the PBC is putting on the best fight.
Okay.
Um, even when you watch their undercards, their fu-
Hmm.
their their undercards, they're putting guys in tougher than say a Top Rank or a
Hmm.
DAZN or some of these other networks. Like
Hmm.
even these undercards are not a gimme for any what I'm saying, for any fighter on the
Yeah.
PBC banner. And from that standpoint, that's how I judge them. Even when you go to like Showbox, when you like
Right.
Showtime and Showbox, when you look at the Showbox fights, even the ones that just took place earlier today, they're
Hmm.
matching these guys up competitively better than, let's say, the top ranks and the zones. And even when
Hmm.
it's a competitive fight on a zone or a top rank card with with a lesser name, that lesser name is not getting the benefit of the doubt, you
Right.
know, like they are on PBC. Like PBC don't have no problem if it's a draw. They don't care about the name who's coming up, because I've seen really good talented prospects lose on the PBC banner because of the way they
Yeah.
were matched up compared to other ones. So from that standpoint alone, I'm getting a better product as far as a fight fan watching PBC. That's just me.
Nah. Understood. Understood.
Yeah, I feel
Understood.
like PBC, they got the most like fighters as far as fighters that we like, obviously, but they do match they fight, like even the young fighters they will match them up tough. For example, I just seen one of the Darrell cousin Lawson. His last name is Lawson, but he
Mm-hmm.
was upcoming prospect. He lost to Nathaniel Gallimore, and I was on like a Sunday card.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so they be matching they tough guys up. I mean
Mm-hmm.
they young guys. They be matching them tough. The other people like the other card like MTK Global, they don't
Mm-hmm.
got popular talent, but they will match they guys up. But it's
Mm-hmm.
always the smaller classes. It's the weight divisions that people not paying attention to.
Mm-hmm. Nah. That makes sense though. No, that makes sense. I guess I would have to agree that PBC, as of right now, you can say that they do give the best they do give the best product right now in terms of like fights and stuff like that. Um, I just think that I think PBC. Well, it's not only PBC; it's a lot of these promoters. I think it's just the in-house syndrome that really hurts boxing. You know, and that's one thing I hope this Canelo fight is with Caleb Plant. I hope the Canelo fight, since it will probably most likely be like kind of like a cross promotion type thing.
Well,
Seeing that,
with
seeing that
him,
Canelo's, yeah,
well with
seeing
him,
that.
not to cut you off, but with him, he's a free agent. He can go
Oh,
anywhere.
Canelo's a free agent.
Yeah, he finished his contractual agreement with his own, so he no longer
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh,
he's
okay.
on
Well, never mind
he's,
then.
he's on a fight by fight basis, so
Yeah,
he could do whatever he wants.
yeah, never mind then, because the way Eddie Hearn tries to push it is he's like, "Oh, I'm delighted to be working with him in the next couple of fights."
Well,
So,
yeah, he's on a fight by fight basis with Eddie Hearn, but
mhm.
he's not contractually uh bonded by Eddie Hearn. You
Oh,
know,
okay, okay,
yeah,
okay. So still, even if the Canelo fight happens, it's like we're still not gonna get like honestly any hopes of the crossover. Um, I mean
Canelo comes
the
if
only
Canelo.
crossover we're go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. If Canelo wants to fight Caleb Plant, it's gonna be on PBC.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, because the only crossover we are getting is just gonna be that Wilder and Fury, which already happened before. Yeah, so.
And what you said before, as far as like crossover promotion, um, that's already something that's been done. It can be done. It's all a question is the fight big enough? You
Yeah,
know,
it go ahead.
is the fight big enough for them to want to do cross promotion? And if the numbers ain't looking right, and that's another thing people got to factor in when you're thinking about a lot of these fights being made as far as cross promotional purposes.
Hmm.
These promoters have to be both on board that this fight is large enough for it to be feasible for them to want to cross promote. So a lot of
Yeah,
times it don't even be the fighters. It just be the fact that the promoters don't believe that this fight is big enough
The
for it to be,
revenue.
yeah, for them to even be trying to share with another promotional company where we all come out on the other side of it.
Yeah. The revenue basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah.
So that's
Nah.
why when you see stuff like mandatories, when mandatories come up and purse bids come up, shit, a lot of these promotional companies are happy that these purse bids come up because now I could just bid and take the fight on my banner and I don't have to share shit with you over here.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's it. That's it. You know, that's it. That's basically what it comes down to.
So
Yeah.
that's what holds up a lot of these fights, man. It don't necessarily be the fighters a lot of
Yeah.
times that don't want these fights. That's
Hmm.
what these fan bases will lead you to believe. But if the money ain't looking right for both sides, it that money ain't. I mean, the fight is not going to happen until it gets built up to the point where both sides say, okay, the money is there. We can go
Hmm.
now and make the fight.
Hmm.
And
No,
I
you're
look at
right.
it like this too. Like these fighters, they know if you like, okay, like Fuller, you seen last weekend you had Javier Fortuna who fought Jojo Diaz. He went to the zone. He's a PBC fighter, went to the zone. He came up on the short end of the stick because you could make the argument he won that fight. I mean, I had him winning the fight. So that's another thing too. Some of these fighters, they be looking at it like, look, if I'm gonna go, I gotta take a risk of getting robbed because I'm fighting on the other network. They would just want to be compensated properly.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true. That's true. You got a point on that too. That's another point that I need to look at too, is that yeah, if they're going over there, they're gonna have to go take shit. You know, it's not like they can just like coast along. You know what I mean? They're gonna
Bruh.
have to go take shit,
And the zone is the
basically.
worst. The zone is the worst at that shit because when you listen to the zone talk about um, a fight which another fighter is coming from another promotional company and fighting on their banner, like the way they did Javier Fortuna, I mean, that was just ridiculous, man. I mean, anything this guy did in that fight, they basically nullified it by talking about how JoJo, how he's doing and how he looks so good. And
Hmm.
nothing Javier Fortuna did in that fight did they ever once, commend him for doing.
Right.
It was so overly biased. It was,
Nah, that's how it be, bro. That's how it be. That's how it be, man. Sometimes you gotta mute the commentators with these things. That's how it be.
but if you
Like
don't,
when you
if you,
listen
if,
to
but if,
like honestly, I'm surprised. Like I'll give you a perfect example. With the and I'm not really too keen on either of them. You know, I'm not keen. I'm not really, just based on their actions. You know, not necessarily on their not necessarily on their fighting abilities, but just based on their actions. I'm not too keen on. But when the Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko fight happened, the commentary was so biased towards Lomachenko, I put it on mute. I'm like, do you guys not realize this dude just gave away like 6 of the first rounds? Yet they were still heaping praise on him, you know?
hey, and those are two fighters on the same banner, so and,
Exactly.
and they're showing their clear bias with two fighters on the same banner, but they've been told, hey, Lomachenko is the next Ali, so
Yeah, 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 yeah.
regardless of him even attempting to throw a punch, let alone land one, because he didn't throw any punches and
Right,
literally threw no punches in the first 6 rounds of the fight.
right, right.
Like, how do you give
Right.
a guy a round who doesn't even really try to throw punches?
Exactly. But yet you're praising him. The oh, I think one of the things they said is, oh, Lomachenko is just being so strategically patient right now, just just figuring him out so he can just chop him down at the end.
Yeah,
I'm like, are you
he's
freaking
collecting
kidding me?
data. He's collecting data. He's
Yeah,
downloading.
I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm like, yo, bro, this is ridiculous. I'm like, give me a break. And they don't even have the same energy for like a Shakur Stevenson, who's obviously a very talented fighter.
Bro, do you know how crazy it was watching after the aftermath of the Shakur Stevenson fight,
Oh yeah,
and
they
seeing
grilled him.
and
They
seeing
grilled
and
him.
well, even during the fight, right? They got emails getting sent to him for them to call this man boring.
Yeah, that's the sad thing about that. It's sad. It's very sad.
Hey, I need you guys to say this guy is boring on
Yeah,
television.
exactly. Exactly.
Something you
Speaking of
don't do,
which,
they don't do to Mexican fighters. They don't do to Slavic fighters. But
yeah,
yet, but yet,
lo
the
and
black
behold.
the black guy, he's the one who's boring. Where have we heard this before?
Exactly. Well, speaking of Shakur Stevenson, at this point, and we've been on for 3 hours, so and it's nearly 2:30 here, so I'll probably shut it down at 2:30. But on the final note, I don't know how true this is, but the word has it that Teofimo Lopez is vacating that IBF belt. So hopefully, for Devin Haney's sake, we can get a unification fight with him and Cambiosis, if or Cambosis or whatever his name is, if Teofimo is indeed vacating. So that could be a unification fight, hopefully. And
Well,
the, and also, I think Shakur Stevenson should just move up to 135 and fight at 135 because he's already a big 130. That guy's a big 130.
I think he's supposed to fight Herring, and him and Herring got an unwritten date, or they're supposed to fight, or if not, Oscar Valdez. I know Oscar
Ah
Valdez
man, I
doesn't.
think, bro,
I know Oscar Valdez doesn't want no
don't
smoke.
even hold your breath for that.
I know he doesn't want no smoke, but him and
Yeah,
Herring supposed to
exactly, bro.
fight.
Don't even hold
Yeah,
your breath.
yeah, I know he don't want no
Don't even
smoke.
hold your breath for that, bro.
But,
Yeah,
but as
bro. Don't
far
that ship. Look, you know how they say that ship has sailed. That ship hasn't even left the dock and won't leave the dock.
yeah, yeah, I understand, but
Yeah,
as far as the Cambosis thing, it has to play out. Teofimo actually has to get stripped,
yeah.
and Cambosis is top rank, right?
I I don't know. I
See, that's the thing. Have to find out if he's top rank. If he's top rank, Devin's a free agent. He can fight on any network. So this is
right.
the most likely they'll still try to want to do the fight in Australia. Why not go to
Mm.
Australia? Go to Australia, whoop his ass in Australia, take the belt. Now you're two belt unified champion at
Yeah, and
135.
and honestly, I don't think Devin Haney would have a problem going to Australia to do that. I really don't. I think he would take the fight.
If I was Devin Haney, I would do everything that Teofimo didn't want to do, which is one,
Exactly.
he didn't want to go over there and defend the belt, and he didn't want to fight Cambosis.
Exactly.
That's one
And
way to
and
shit on
and, and, and
Teofimo.
and this is my thing. And I'm going to say this too, not to cut you off. This is my thing. If the shoe was on the other foot, then I would have to call the fighter out and keep it a spade. If Devin Haney was doing the same diva-like tactics as a Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez,
I couldn't have my cake and do it too. I would have to call him out as well,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. We don't
I would have to.
bro. There's no boxer who's exempt from criticism if they're doing fuckery.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. When if the the thing is when if a fighter shows that like they want to get smoke, then okay, I have to rock with that fighter. But if the fighter doesn't show that and the fighter just talks it and says like, okay, I'm gonna knock Tank out, I want to knock Tank out, but then you FaceTime me Tank and telling him this, that, and the other, but then your actions aren't showing that you really want the fight, then what am I left to think? Like am I left to be like, oh wow, I need to get behind this guy now, man. He's doing everything that's needed to be done to fight these guys. So this is why it is what it is for me when it comes to these fighters.
Yeah, man, you got to hold them accountable, man.
Yeah,
That's what fans don't. A lot of fans don't seem to understand. Like they explore rules that don't apply in real life. It still applies just because they're a fighter. Don't mean it don't apply. It does. Accountability applies in every aspect of your real life. You're not gonna walk around and just accept bullshit from anybody in your circle. So why are you just going to accept it from somebody that you paying your money to watch? You know what I'm saying? Like that
yeah,
shit don't make sense
exactly.
to me.
Exactly. And so that's why I say too, I feel the same exact way. I feel the same way. It's like if you're not showing what you're saying, then like it's kind of making me think like, okay, well, what's going on? It's the same thing in this new situation with Jojo Diaz. We had the back and forth on Twitter
I've never seen no
with
shit like this where um,
nah, and this is the thing, bro. We had the back and forth on Twitter. Jojo Diaz called him out, said this, that, and the other. Haney said bet. So I'm like, okay, cool. Fight's gonna happen. Good scrap. Fast forward, we read on ESPN, him and Ryan Garcia are negotiating for a fight. It's like,
hey,
damn, they got me again. It's
hey,
like, damn, he
because
got me.
you know why I said diversion earlier? That was the diversion. They didn't want Ryan to fight for Tuna, but they feel comfortable with JoJo and Ryan fighting each other. And then which Ryan didn't even have to go this route to begin with because he was already the fucking mandatory.
Yeah, he was the mandatory. He was indeed the mandatory, but oh man, and you can't make this up.
I've never
That's the thing.
seen I've never seen a guy get the mandatory spot and literally say, "Nah, I don't want to fight the champion." I, that
No,
shit.
I've never seen a guy get a mandatory spot and said the champion has to do more. I've never seen that.
But doesn't that come back to he doesn't want to? Doesn't that come back to he doesn't want to fight him?
Yo, yeah, it's like I've never seen anything like that in my life, bro. The champion has to do more.
He's the champion. What the fuck what are you talking about? Why are you concerned about him? What he needs to do?
Exactly. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get off of here. But this was a good little a little session, and I'm what I'm probably gonna do is do it regularly. So I'm gonna come back like probably next Friday and do it. You know?
All right, man. I'll be around.
Yeah. Or hell, shit. If I don't got anything going on tomorrow, shit, I might come on. May come back tomorrow.
Hey, I'll be around tomorrow too.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, thanks for joining the panel. I appreciate it. Thanks for like your input. I definitely appreciated your input. You brought some things to my attention that I didn't even see.
Hey man, that's what we do. We just try to raise each other up, man.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
yeah,
stuff.
definitely.
There's a lot of issues as far as the conscious community that you guys put me up on that I wasn't privy to. So we all lift
Oh
each other up,
shoot!
bring
If
each other
hey,
along.
if you want, if you want, my nigga, tomorrow I can do a whole show breaking the whole issues down with every one of them.
Oh shit, that
I don't like put a lot of energy into doing it, but like just certain things reach my DM or something like that, and someone tells me something, I'm like, oh shoot, that person did that, like you know.
hey, this is good to know because these people are out here perpetrating the fraud, and to me, they're the biggest enemy of the community and than any white person at this point, to be honest.
No, yeah, they are. They are. We've always had some like that. Always had some like that. But yeah, yeah. So let's keep in touch. I'll probably come on like maybe tomorrow, and then we can like just chop it up some more, talk more. It maybe some. I'm pretty sure the Caleb Plant fight will be announced or whatever the case may be tomorrow, and then we can just cook some more.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, man.
All right, appreciate you, man.
All right, have a blessed one.
And the people in the chat and everything. If I didn't get to you, my bad. But thank y'all for like tapping in. And if I have a difference of opinion, it's just a difference of opinion. It doesn't mean that I am in any way or form hateful that you have a difference of opinion. You have a difference of opinion. Let's leave it at that. Perhaps your opinion, if your opinion is back with receipts, then show me the receipts, and then yeah, we go from there. But other than that, man, thank you all for tuning in, and we may be back tomorrow. But if we ain't back tomorrow, we'll be back next Friday. All right, Njarama. That's our greeting in Fufude for peace. We say Njarama. And in the new language that I am learning, they say Nabade, I believe. But yep, that's a wrap.